our minds are wired to hear stories. Why do we watch movies? Why do we, uh, socialize? Because we are practically, as human beings, wired to hear stories. You must have heard marketing is all about stories. It definitely is. The more compelling the story, the more interesting it is, the more stronger the antagonist and protagonist, normally antagonist, the villain, the negative part of the story, the more interesting it gets. So I'll share with you my story. Some of you might have already heard, but I'll share with you some interesting, anecdotes and excerpts from my own personal story. I came as an immigrant in the country when I was literally 19 years old, without a graduation and literally no money in my hand. I walked in into UK in London with £300 in my pocket back in early 2000. I had no one to call or depend on, but to make sure that I look after myself. And in the process, I had to even look after my family because my mom and dad, they were getting elderly, so they needed some help as well. So I started going through many, many jobs. I mean, I joined initially my family business when I was like 14 years old. Uh, but that obviously was in India. I moved to UK, 19, went through a cycle of nearly 20 jobs in a period of 2 years, mostly jobs as a chef, retail. I worked as lots of retail jobs. I worked as a chef in a franchise. I also worked in factories. I worked as a stock controller. I worked in a tire factory and lots of different shops. I worked in an Asian shop. I worked in shoes shop, and you name it. I went through those jobs like literally 20 times over. And I realized that I am not, I just can't work for someone else. I just cannot work for someone else. And then that's when I started, okay, you know what, people are driving taxi around me. Let's start driving taxi. So I started driving taxi when I was back, I think it was like 21. That was back in 2001, 2002. And then I started building my own chauffeur company, which was a luxury taxi company. This was back in 2003. I built that company from scratch to a team of 47 drivers. The pain that I went through to build that company, because I knew not a lot about business. I wasn't the most educated person. I didn't even have a degree at that time, or any of the qualifications that I acquired later. I went through a phase where I was financially down. I was emotionally struggling. I was struggling with pretty much every aspect of my life. I was struggling physically because I was eating too much sugar. I was, like I said, struggling emotionally with every relationship around me. I even was suicidal at points in my life. And then being able to pull myself out of that situation. I think the only reason I was able to, well, there are a couple of reasons that I was able to pull out of that situation was, one was I was really, really driven to prove myself to myself, and a lot of people that didn't quite believe in me. I wanted to prove it to them as well. Even though now, in hindsight, I feel I wanted to prove myself a lot more than I wanted to prove others. I don't want to prove nothing to no one else at the moment. But at that point, I did. Purely, I was young, not as mature. So I wanted to prove it to others as well. At the same time, I did want to make a lot of money. I wanted to make sure that I look after my family. I was driven by family emotions, which is always a good thing, I must say, as long as you know how to balance and use them in a positive way. So I kind of pulled myself out of that situation and built a company, which we sold back in 2014. And then from that point onwards, I was an accidental landlord. I must share in the journey. I bought my first property back in 2003, bought another one in 2007. And then I kept on buying a few more properties in the middle of all of that. That was all buy-to-let properties. Now I am kind of almost out of the buy-to-let space. We only have 2 properties in the buy-to-let space. The rest is all commercial stuff. But at the same time, I kept buying a few properties while I was running chauffeur company. And then when we sold that company, I got to a point where it's almost like I wanted to walk into businesses and say, look, I have lots of experience of running running and growing a business, but I couldn't prove it to anyone because there was, I knew nothing about social media. Knew nothing about personal brand, professional brand. Uh, and then that's when I started learning about professional and personal branding. All this influencer marketing was taking off. There was lots of people creating lots of content around what they knew. And that's when I started. This was back into 2015. I also built another small company at the back of that, is another chauffeur company at the back of that, which I sold in 2016. So kind of built two companies, one quite substantial size, 47 drivers reporting us, pretty much every single day. It was a 24/7 operations, pretty hectic, but I must say it was quite lucrative. We were providing, Bentleys, Rolls Royces, lots of, luxury cars, E classes, S classes, to celebrity clients, royal families, celebrity clients, large corporate companies based in States, Dubai, UAE, India, lots of Indian listed companies. We were providing, like I said, we were providing service to lots of celebrities that I've met in the journey, that people tend to fascinate about. I was not quite fascinated, but we did provide service to lots of very, very, very famous people in the world, actually. But what I learned in the process is, and this is something, there's lots of research on it as well, but at the same time, something that I observed is your interpersonal skills, which is your social skills, actually play the they play 80% of the part in your success journey. Okay. So being able to cold call someone, cold meet someone, and then create a friend, and then being able to do business at the back of that is 80% of your success. Okay. There's a research done by, I think it was the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which said 80% of your success depends on your interpersonal and your social skills. And I was lucky enough to build those skills when I was running that chauffeur company, going through lots of jobs and with life experience. I was lucky enough to build those skills. But while I was buying those, properties at the back of that, and I was also getting education at the back of that. So back in 2005, I got myself, so there was three things that I did. I did a bachelor's in an honors in leadership and management. I also did a finance diploma. I also did a consulting diploma. So I'm actually a qualified financial advisor. Why? One of the reasons you might ask, why would I listen to you? Because I tend to see a lot more investments behind the scene than most people do, just purely because we provide finance. So I'm going to share with you some of the really interesting anecdotes of the cases that I've seen behind the scene, and how, me and you can learn from that. You'd be able to see that. So while I was doing that, and while I was learning in the process of how to scale a company, and interpersonal skills, combination of finance, combination of leadership, combination of creative skills on how to scale a company, all of these came to a point when we started PEN, which is Property Entrepreneurs Network, as you see it now. When we started PEN, we did lots of research on the pain in the industry. And at the same time, the two biggest pain points that we see in the industry, even right now, and even back in 2017, one was being able to raise funding, which is still a pain, I must say. At the same time, depending on the context of what's happening in the industry, and at the same time, being able to find very profitable deals. And that's when we started, PEN. And PEN really took off through the COVID period, purely because people were sitting at home. When we started doing events through the COVID period, we used to normally have 300-400 people register at any given time. And at the back of that, we built the community to nearly 500,000 people. And then we got to a point where Facebook suspended one of the biggest groups, which was 450,000 people. They suspended that group. So we ended up losing 90% of what you saw PEN at the back of that as a network, which was a really big hit for us, I must say. But again, I'm just going to share in the journey what happened. But before I carry on, we're going to start to get to know each other as well. Okay. I will share with you a lot more of things behind the scene of what's happening on what we are doing, where we are investing, what are we investing our money as well as time into. I'll share with you the back end stories of some of the other cases that we see behind the scene. But before that, we're going to get to know each other a bit more. I can see Colm right at the top of the list. Please open your mic and share a bit about yourself. Where are you based? What are you focused on? Colm, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so share a bit more about yourself. Where are you based? What are you focused on? And if you can open your camera as well, that would be
everyone.
helpful.
So my name is Colm. I'm based in Scotland on the west coast in a place called Largs. So I became interested in property, after buying my house and financial stability. My main business is as a translator. I've been a freelance translator for several years, specialised in intellectual property and technical texts. And this year, I'm focusing on building a venture, which will be a translation agency and tech company. That's a partnership I've formed with a tech investor and developer, and we'll actually be doing something related to real estate and property, because some of the first clients will be hotels and international property investment platforms. And in terms of property investment myself, I'm just curious and looking for ways to get involved and build something for the long term, and maybe join up the two businesses together. And I've spoken to Jack a few times, and he's been very supportive, and I've been following the Penn network for some time, and I'm happy to be involved today. Thank you.
Thank you, Colm, for that. Tony, I can see you. Would you like to share a bit more about yourself, please?
Hello, hi. Yeah, I live in Surrey, and I've been investing in property for about the past 15 years. One of them I converted to a HMO, and this year I've been doing deal sourcing as well. Sourcing properties all over the country, buy-to-lets, HMOs, rent-to-rent, things like that, really. And
Sounds good.
Is looking to improve my property knowledge and network.
Sounds good, Tony. Is there a particular strategy that you're focused on? Because you're in a really good area, Surrey.
Yeah, mainly HMOs, really.
Mainly HMOs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Thank you, Tony. Is there anything you'd like to share that might help you with the network?
Yeah, just that I'm prepared to help anyone that's looking for deals or looking for any BMV properties. That I could source. If they could give me their requirements, I may be able to help them find something that might be of interest to them.
Sounds good, Tony. Make sure you send me a WhatsApp message to have book a call with me later. There might be some synergy there.
Right, great. Okay, thanks a lot.
That's great. Thank you, Tony. Adnan, I can see you here. Adnan, you've been in the network for quite some time. Do share a bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, hi, I'm Adnan. I'm based in East London. I run a small little lettings agency. Been doing that for about 15 years. Looking to go into development. I've done a commercial to resi. It was an accident, kind of something that I purchased, and then I just decided to go for it. Did that. I've got some HMOs, and yeah, I'm just looking to sort of expand my field into different kind of avenues. Like I said, it was all accidental. Even now, I'm not even, I'm still not too clear exactly what it is. that I want to do, but it's working for me, so hence I've stuck to it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We want to make sure it's not accidental and more like a conscious decision to do developments and planning uplifts.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm looking for now. Yeah.
Thank you, Adnan. We'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. Alan, I can see you next to the list. Do share a bit about yourself with everyone, please.
Hi, Jack, and everybody. Happy Easter. And I'm Alan. I'm based in Hampshire. It's actually just on the Hampshire-Surrey border, so I guess I'm probably not too far from Tony. My main interest is commercial to residential conversions at the moment. I've got 3 ongoing in Alton in Hampshire, and also I've got an interest in hotels as well for redevelopment. So the possibility of adding value and selling on. I don't want to operate hotels. And I've got a joint venture going on for development of 118 holiday homes in the Midlands. So my aspiration is to do more deals UK-wide and even in Europe, because I've got a company set up in Slovenia. So essentially I can operate anywhere in the EU with that company. So that's a little bit about me. Cheers.
That's great. Thank you, Alan, for that. I'm just going to go through the list. Just give me one sec. Moro, I can see you next in the list. Would you like to share about yourself, please? Can you hear me, Moro?
Jack, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, go ahead. Please share about yourself.
I'll be quick, Jack, because I had a little issue with my daughter here, so I'll be quick. Yeah, guys. So, guys, my name is Mauro. I'm based in London, Southeast London. At the moment, with Jack's guidance, I'm working on the rent-to-HMO strategy. Speaking to landlords, offering my services. And yeah, and my dream in property, going later in the future, is to become a property developer. So that's pretty much it from me.
That's right. Thank you, Moro, for that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I can see Locadia. Would you like to share about yourself, please? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yes, you're pronouncing. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jack. How everyone? Mine is so I started property in 2017, and I did lots of trainings and stuff, and I managed to buy some buy-to-let property. I'm based in Leeds, West Yorkshire. My buy-to-lets are in Yorkshire. They are not in Leeds. They're just in different places. I started then I was interested in rent-to-rent. I started looking for rent-to-rent properties. It was just difficult. I just could not find any properties to do rent-to-rent. And then I gave up on doing property. I started in 2020, doing healthcare and social care business. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I've got a health and social care business. So I've just decided I want to go back to property, doing property again. So that's why I'm attending this. But I had stopped doing it. So I'm just interested in coming back, and because I know property is lucrative compared to healthcare business that I'm doing. So that's why I thought I'll go back and see whether I can be able to start again in property.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Did you say you're based in Leeds?
Yes, West Yorkshire. Yes.
West Yorkshire. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm gonna share something that will massively help you locate up this. Okay. We'll come back to that. I can see Leon next in the list. Please do share about yourself. Leon, can you hear me? We'll come back to you, Leon, when you can hear us. Seti, I can see you. Please share about yourself, bro. Can you hear me, Seti?
Hey guys, hope you're well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
Yeah,
just
good
having a little
yourself?
bit of. Yeah, I'm good. How you been?
No
You okay?
worries. Yeah, good, good.
Fantastic. What can I share about me? Two hats. But firstly, I'll talk about the pen journey, which I've been part of Jack's group, I would say, since 2019. We started to have a discussion. In 2020, when lockdown was going on, I basically joined up with a whole load of other individuals as well, and we had some great times. And I've seen those individuals actually flourish and do really, really well. So it's really been beneficial. My first hat has been traditional estate agency, 20 years, East London. We manage over 300 properties for local landlords. We do sales, commercial, and we cover everything like that. We've got VAs in the Philippines, finding sites for developers. So that's one hat. And the other hat, which actually got invented in 2020, was I set up a company called Star SK, which does hotels. And we are direct to 3 very large hotel buyers and worldwide buyers, chains. And it's going really, really well. Touch wood. Yeah. You get the numbers right and you get everything correct. You do very well from this stuff, but it's not something like small units that you can pick up every other day. It's it's a long run you have to look at. So that's me and a benefit. And Jack's like a soul brother that I've known now for a number of years as well. We don't talk every week, we don't talk every month, but we do pick up, and it's like picking up a conversation that you left yesterday. So that's always a great thing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for sharing that. Right, guys. Okay, I'm going to share with you the biggest challenges in the industry at the moment. I think a lot of people are really, really scared when it comes to property at the moment. Please, it's an interactive session, so please do ask questions. It's not a one-way thing that I'm doing. Sorry, I'm just going to try and see if I can bring everyone in the screen. Right. It would be lovely to see your faces, irrespective of how they are. I'm not the best looking man, so it would be good to see your faces. If you can open your cameras, it really does help to interact. Also, please ask questions. If you don't ask questions, there's no way, absolutely no way you're going to learn to really what happens on ground and how to actually learn the depth of what's happening in the property industry. I probably speak with more people in the property industry than most people would, purely because not just that I lead the network, but because I'm a finance broker and we invest and develop ourselves, and there's lots of things that we do behind the scene. So I tend to speak with lots and lots of investors and developers and newbies in the industry. And my observation has been most people are just purely scared because they announced the damn recession. Okay? You don't need to be scared. Recession is a perception that's been created by the news channels. Okay? Yes, on ground things are difficult purely because people are scared. They're not pulling out their cash. They're not, necessarily investing in the right deals because they are scared. You don't need to be scared. When you think long term, you invest now. You don't wait for to invest. So invest now. It is an amazing market for buyers. It's a buyer's market, not a seller's market. Okay? You can actually get 10, 20, 30, even 40% discounted stock at the moment. You're not going to find this stock, discounted stock, in about 2 to 3 years' time. Okay? I come across, even right now, I have, I think, 3 different properties. One is a portfolio that's 30% discounted. There's another 2 more properties that are sort of 20 to 30% discounted. These properties don't come discounted when the property market is up. It is perceptively down. So you get discounted stock. So I'm going to share with you a few things that not just that we are doing behind the scene, but what you can do in your situation. Okay? Please raise your hand if you have no money to invest in property. Please raise your hand. I want to see how many people raise their hand. I can see a few hands. If you have no money to invest in property, your focus needs to be rent to HMO, not rent to rent, not sourcing, not flipping, not developments. Your focus needs to be rent to HMO, purely because it's a lot more safer strategy in comparison to rent, and it does not require massive amounts of capital. Okay, rent to HMO, to give you an example, okay, you can get sheets or spreadsheets of landlords from local councils. It is public information. They have to give it to you. When you look at those local sheets from the councils, you will find that because most of these HMO landlords are baby boomers. So they own multiple HMOs. All you need is about 2 or 3 different landlords to give you their properties, anywhere between 5 to 20 HMOs. Every single rent to HMO can make you a minimum of £1,000. And it's a very easy strategy to work on. You get one HMO, you make £1,000. You find one landlord with 20 HMOs or 10 HMOs, all of a sudden one man can give you 10 HMOs and you can make £10,000 a month. I repeat, you can make £10,000 a month very, very easily. All you got to do is find that one landlord. This is public information that you can get from the local councils. They have to give it to you because it is a public information. Okay? Commercially registered information on commercial buildings is public information, and the government have to give it to you when you ask for it. Okay? I used to live in Slough. I asked the Slough Council. Initially, they said, no, we're not going to give it to you. I wrote back to them and said, this is public information and I have the right to ask you. They sent me the spreadsheet straight away. I opened the spreadsheet. Most of the names I could see repeatedly. Okay? Just because they have multiple HMOs in the local region. Okay? All you got to do is do your local events, do your, when you do that, you'll attract local landlords. You can also use LinkedIn Premium. I know it's expensive, but it pays off because you can find local landlords and investors and developers very, very easily with LinkedIn Premium. Okay? Also, you can use local Facebook groups to attract those landlords. For all of this, you don't need to do any paid marketing. All you got to do is your local networking. Okay? And you can easily, like I said, get to anywhere between $5,000 to $20,000 a month very, very, very easily. I do not know of a easier strategy to create cash flow than anything else in the property industry. Like I said, you don't need lots of money either. In most cases, the landlord would ask for a month's rent in advance and a month's rent deposit. That's all you need to start the strategy.
Jack, can I just interrupt you there?
Please
I
do
did,
ask.
Yeah, I did that for 2 years. I never got one in Leeds. It doesn't work. I got those and I was right. I lost lots of money because I was sending letters. I was taught that strategy. I did it for 2 years in Leeds. Never. That's why I gave up on doing property.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How much of a sales training have you had in your life?
I did training. I did a lot of sales training. I did lots of training.
Okay, so my question, Locadia, here is, if you meet a landlord, how would you approach him? Him, her?
So what I was doing, I was sending letters. That's what I was taught. Yeah, I
No,
was sending
no,
landlords letters. So I got that list. That's what I was taught when I did proper
no,
training.
no, Locadia. Those days are gone. Those
Yeah.
days are gone. In marketing, the number of touch points you need to persuade someone to say yes are 30 plus. One letter is not going to do the job.
Yeah, I
You
was
need
sending
to-
regularly. It was 2018, 2019. I was sending regularly those letters, you know.
So let me share with you. So it's a good question, Locadia. Let me share with you how you can get a yes from a landlord. Shall I share that with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the trick, okay? You need to find a way to bring a landlord closer to you. Okay? When you write a letter, that person is not close to you. He or she is not in front of you. Okay? You need to learn to attract that person to come into a room with you. Okay? How you do it is like this event that you're watching right now. Okay? And you need lots and lots of touch points to persuade someone to say, okay, I'm actually going to come into a room with this person. Are you with me? Okay. Now, if you go and observe what we do behind the scene, to give you an example, you can go on to my YouTube channel. We do lots and lots of interviews. We put them on the YouTube channel and share with the network. We create multiple communities. So you could go on Facebook, and I have probably about 10 plus groups that we have created. We tag people, we ask people to introduce themselves. If you look at the WhatsApp groups, we have WhatsApp community, we have Facebook communities, we have LinkedIn communities, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. We provide content and share our experience everywhere, Locadia. But to get the first yes, you need to walk and be able to connect with a local landlord through a networking event. Either you do it yourself or you go to a local networking event of someone else and speak with a local landlord who owns multiple HMOs. Again, public information, you can easily find that from the local council. Once you get that, you need to connect with that person face to face. Like I said, either you do it through LinkedIn, you do it through writing a letter, you attend a network, you call that person, you knock on their door. It doesn't matter how you do it. You need that person in front of you, Locadia. Unless that person is in front of you, there is absolutely no way you're going to get a yes. No way you're going to get a yes. Okay? I'll give you an example, live example, okay? We have, I think, Alan, Moro, Rajesh, Seti, Cole, people, so about 5 people here that I can tell you that have been a part of our paid community. I think Com hasn't been, but I think the rest of the members have been directly at some point or the other paid members. Okay? The only reason, and some of them connected to me a long time ago, the only reason they've been paid members is purely because I managed to find these people from one or the other channel to bring them closer to us to share value. I insist, share value. That means when you meet your first landlord, you tell them, you know what, I will provide you the service for the first 1, 2, 3 months for absolutely free for you to try me out. Are you with me, Locadia, on this?
Yes, I am with you. The thing is, I was taught, I spent about £20,000 doing training on property.
Jesus, did you spend £20,000?
I did. That's why I gave up on property. So that's why I attended these big companies trainings on property. I was attending all these. I had mentors, everything. So that time, that's why I gave up on property, because I was like, it's not for me, because I spent what we were being taught, what to do, and I followed all that what we were taught. So that's why I'm saying I gave up on property, and then I went to start another business because I was like, it's not working, because I've spent all this money doing training, but I'm not succeeding.
All right, guys, this is a very, very good example, Locadia. Please let me help you on this, okay? I need you to have an open mind on this, okay? unless you don't learn to unlearn and then relearn in the day and age we are in, you cannot progress too far. So what you learned previously by paying £20,000, I can assure you, you can learn within our company for absolutely free, and you will progress only and only if you open your mind, unlearn what you've learned, and open your mind to relearning. Are you with me on this, Locadia?
Yeah, that's why I've decided to come back.
You will not pay me any money for this, I promise you that. Okay?
Yeah, that's why
You will
I've
not pay me any
decided.
money for this, okay? This is important, okay?
Yeah.
Like I shared with you, if you stay with me till the end of the session, I'm going to give you our premium trainings worth £12,000 for absolutely free. You need to stay till the end, but I'm actually going to address this so everyone can see through this, okay? Guys, if you cannot get a yes from an investor, a landlord, a developer, a builder, a tradesman, or any stakeholder in the business, you are not going to progress. Okay? Like I said, the biggest two pain points in property industry are investment, that means finding investors, and second is finding profitable deals. Okay? And if you do find these people, but you can't get a yes from them, you're really not going to progress. Okay? I'm going to give you a contradictory, paradoxical example here. Okay? Alan came to me about a month ago and he said, I'm looking for an investment. He's looking to invest in 3, side-by-side projects. And he said, because his criteria did not meet what our family office provides, I'm connected with a couple of family offices, his criteria did not meet the family office criteria. Okay? So he reached out to me and said, I'm looking for more investors. Can you help? Okay, I'm gonna share a lot more Locadia on this. Okay, Alan, tell me honestly, how many investors have I introduced you to? Tell me the number.
4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he's not had a yes from any 4 of them. Okay. I see 2 reasons behind them. One, the deal that he's looking to for money for, that particular deal in and itself is not profitable enough. Okay, it is profitable, but not profitable enough. Second is, 4 people, everyone has their own timeline. Okay, so maybe his timeline is not matching their timeline. Okay, but can you see that I have someone here that I introduced 4 investors to? Okay, and I actually asked him, you need to find a creative way to maybe, hang on to this deal. I may invest into that deal because I'm refinancing some of my portfolio, so on and so forth. Okay? But if his deal matched the criteria of the family office that I have in front of me, I would have been able to get him the investment pretty quickly. Okay? But how have I managed to get to a point where not just me personally, that I am investing alongside other investors, but I'm also investing in multiple projects, bringing other investors into the project, also bringing other family office money into the picture. How have I been able to get to this point? Okay, I'm going to share this with you, Locadia. This is so important, right? Like I said, if you can't get a yes from someone, you're just not going to be successful in the property industry. Okay, you need, if let's say you find a really good deal, and if the landlord doesn't say yes to you, you're just not going to go too far, are you? Okay, I'm going to share with you a persuasion model that you can use, practice at home, and use on the ground, that I use day in, day out, not just professionally, but personally as well. Okay, like in my personal life, in my relationships, I use this model to be able to help people out. Okay, it's not about just persuading someone, but more like helping people out. Okay, and please just bear with me on this. Okay, because it's not something that's easy to get a grasp of. It's a model called GROW model. Okay, it stands for GROW. R stands for, so I'm going to share this, what it stands for. R stands for reality. G stands for goals. O stands for opportunities. And W stands for will. So when you meet someone, Locadia, I insist you meet someone. You don't write letters. Letters can work, but they are like a secondary option. The primary option is to bring someone face to face. Okay? There's absolutely no way someone is going to give you a yes virtually, as in the sense that you've never seen this person, you've not spoken with this person, and you want them to give you a yes. The answer is you're not going to get that yes. Okay? You need to bring that person face to face. Either it is physical face to face meeting or a meeting like this, like a virtual Zoom meeting. Okay? But no one is going to sit at home, never speak with you and give you a yes. Okay? Well, when that person comes in front of you, either through networking, and when I say networking, let me give you a bit more detail on how you can do that. Okay? Go on to Facebook groups, local Facebook groups. Go on to LinkedIn Premium. You can get it for a month for free. Go on to literally LinkedIn groups. There's lots of property-based LinkedIn groups. There's lots of Facebook groups. There's lots of YouTube channels. There's lots and lots of WhatsApp communities, right? Just alone PEN's WhatsApp community has thousands of people. Okay? When you join these networks, that's when you reach out to landlords through the data that you're going to find from the sheets. Either you meet them in networks or either you knock their doors. I have physically knocked the door of landlords 500,000 times. I literally mean 500,000 times. Okay? Knock the door and say, look, this is who I am. This is what I do. Share it with respect, share it politely, dress according to as if you are a successful person. And when you knock that door and speak with someone politely, they will. Why wouldn't they speak with you if you tell them, look, I will manage your property for 3 months for free? They're going to save £3,000, £4,000, £5,000. Prove yourself before you say, I'm going to charge you or take your property on rent to rent. You could even charge a 15% fee to manage their HMOs. If a HMO is, let's say, generating £50,000, these days £50,000 is like a piece of cake for a HMO in and around London. 15% of that is £7,500. You get 10 of those, that's £75,000. You get 20 of those, that's 150 grand. I literally look at sheets and I see one person, 15, 20, 30 HMOs. They're baby boomers. They have lots and lots of properties. But the way to be able to get to that point is regular networking and regular community building, bringing people face to face in events like this and through WhatsApp communities and LinkedIn communities and Facebook communities. If you go back and check our Facebook communities, just in Facebook communities alone, and I shared this previously, that this is for rent to rent, but connecting with landlords and investors on every single level. Either you're doing developments, either you want to do rent to rents, you want to do HMOs, doesn't really matter what you want to do. I'm talking about connecting with investors and landlords.
Jack.
Okay, someone else asked this question.
Jack, it's Rajesh, sorry. Hi.
Yes,
Good to
Rajesh.
see you. Happy Easter. I was talking to some other guy about this.
So,
And he
Katie,
said,
I'm going to come back to your answer. I want to really dig this deeper. Okay, Rajesh? Yeah, carry on.
All right. Okay, you carry on. Just a quick thing. Is it worthwhile associated with a developer and bringing a developer deals? Or is it better to go for investors and landlords?
What would you like to do with those deals?
Well, like I said, I think we spoke to this before. I want to do sourcing. So I'm in the process of becoming compliant.
If you are not exceptional at sales, please do not bother about sourcing.
So what would you suggest then? Just going for rent to rent or HMOs or something?
I'm going to share with you a strategy tactic. It's almost like a chronological order of things where either you have no money, you have a little bit of money, and you have lots of money. I'll share with you the whole range. Please bear with me.
Okay, thank you, Jack.
Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to deal with Locadia because it's so important, okay? I will come back to you, Rajesh, on this, okay? Locadia, so you are networking now through all of these portals, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, WhatsApp communities. Not just that you're networking, but you're also building your own community by inviting people into your own community that you're going to build. Okay? If you go back to, like I said, Facebook groups, we lost a group that had 450,000 people. Okay? Even right now, just alone in the Facebook groups that we have, we still have about 30,000 plus people, probably about 35,000 people. We built all of this community from scratch, Locadia. From scratch, I repeat, I am an immigrant. I came with no money. I started PEN in 2017. We built the whole PEN community from scratch. Okay? You can do this only if you focus and nurture those relationships, as in the sense bring value, but keep inviting people into your own community when you do your networking, and focus on local networking so you can connect with the local landlords, like I said, data from local councils, as well as LinkedIn Premium. That will help you build connection with local landlords and local investors. Once you start to build your own community of WhatsApp, I insist on WhatsApp because most people don't check their Facebook or LinkedIn regularly, but they do check their WhatsApp regularly. Okay, so build your WhatsApp community and then bring value. So just turn up and say, look, if you are a landlord, I'd like to offer you 1, 2, 3 months of service. If you allow me to manage, I will give you that 2 months, 3 months for absolutely free, and then go from that point. If I am a landlord, and if I have multiple properties in the local region, someone comes to me, I have a bit of pain in the property, in the management company that's providing me service. You come in, you are new, you're passionate, I like you, I've met you face to face. You say, I'm going to give you 3 months for free. Tell me a reason why wouldn't they give you their properties to manage? Locadia, are you with me on this?
Yes, I am with you. I've been, I used to attend network meetings, PIN meetings. I was.
Did you create your own community?
No, I didn't. That's what I did.
You need to create your own community, Locadia. You meet people in networking events, right? You don't nurture that relationship. They never see you, or you only speak with them 3 or 4 times. The number of touch points someone needs to give you a yes after using the GROW model in your communication, I'm going to come back to the GROW model, is about 30 plus. That means they need to see you, speak with you 30 plus times before they trust you to give you the business. And that can only happen when you build your own community. And your communication needs to be based on the GROW model, which is when you speak with them, you ask them open questions about their reality. That means, where are they in their journey? Then the next questions need to be open questions again, as in the sense, goals. What is it that they'd like to achieve? The third level of open questions would be opportunities. That means, what is it that you are providing as in your opportunities?
Yeah, can you repeat that again, please? I'm just writing it down.
And then the last set of questions need to be based on closed question, as in asking for a sale. Would you like me to help you manage your HMO if I gave you 3 months service for absolutely free? That's a closing question. But before that, you need to build that rapport, build that trust, by nurturing those relationships to a point where you know you're going to get a yes. Understanding someone's current situation, then understanding where they would like to be. So from A to B, the reality to the goals, and then the opportunities that you provide in the picture, as in the sense, what is it that you do that can help someone else reach their own personal goals? And then asking a closed question, would you like me to help you in the journey? Are you with me on this, Locadia? You need to practice grow model on regular basis.
Okay.
Unless you build your own community, nurture those relationships, create so many touch points that people almost have no choice but to trust and start to believe in what you do, you're not going to get the business. Okay? Please start building your own community, start building your own network, start to nurture those relationships, start to speak with people, help people out without expectations. I sometimes jump on a call with people, half an hour later, I'm not making any money, but I'm helping that person out. And what that does is either I end up doing business with that person, or they may go and recommend me to someone else who I end up doing business with. Okay, we are in a service-based business. We need to nurture those relationships. Okay, if you are connected with, hypothetically, an example is, let's say Alan is connected to 4 investors right now. His job is to keep nurturing those relationships, irrespective if they invest in his projects right now or not. But if he keeps nurturing those 4 relationships, eventually they will invest in one of his projects. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Are you with me? Alan, can you hear me?
Hi, Jack. Yeah, I hear you. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
so it's so important to understand, okay? I have people in my network that I've known for 20 plus years that have known me for not property, but for the chauffeuring business that I used to run, the transport business. Okay? And they're still in my community because I invited them and I said, look, I've started a property business. Would you like to see how it can benefit you? Maybe I can help you find a below market value deal. Maybe I can help you find an investor. Maybe I can help you, grow your portfolio. Most of the people who have known me for the longest period of time have joined our community. Either they do business with me right now, or they do business with me 5 years later. They still want to do business with me because they trust me. And the trust needs to be based on providing value with no expectations. Please raise your hand if you can see through what I'm saying. Please raise your hand if you can see through. When you build a network, a community around what you do, you keep helping, serving people, you keep nurturing those relationships. At one point or the other, they will do business with you if you are creative enough yourself. But you do need to create your own community, keep nurturing, keep inviting, and keep serving till you get to a point. Remember, it's a pull effect. It's not a push effect, it's a pull effect. So invite someone and then nurture till they get to a point when they ask you for help. Raise your hand if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's a pull effect. It's only maybe a 1% push. It's a 99% pull. Okay. Welcome, Natasha. Welcome. I think it was a couple of people who joined. It's literally a pull effect and absolutely nothing else. You keep serving till you get to a point where they call you and say, Locadia, I am fed up with my existing rent-to-rent operator. I'm fed up with my local, existing agent. I am a tired landlord. Can you please help me? That's the situation you want to create. Okay? This is what you call persuasion skills. When they are fed up with the existing agent, when they are fed up with the local landlords, when they are fed up with the people that they're working with, okay? That's when you create a pull effect. Locadia, can you WhatsApp me? Do you have my WhatsApp number? Are you in our WhatsApp community?
Yeah, I've WhatsApp you before.
Send me a WhatsApp message and say, Jack, trainings. I will give you access to all of the trainings for a certain period of time for absolutely free. It's 185 hours of trainings, okay? I cover all of this in way more depth, okay? I'm literally, you'll see the sessions where I'm physically practicing the grow model with other people in the community. You can actually see physical examples of deals being done behind the scene, okay? I'm actually sharing deals that I'm doing behind the scene, live examples of those deals in those trainings. I'm going to give you everything for absolutely free. Go and watch it. Come back to me when you feel you've seen and you've got some value out of it. Okay?
All right.
Send me a WhatsApp message with trainings, and I promise I'll give you access. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Locadia. Rajesh, I'm going to come back to your question now. Okay? So your strategic way of looking at your own personal strategy is, if you have no money, you focus on rent to HMO, not rent to rent. I repeat, not rent to rent. Rent to rent is very saturated. Okay? Rent to HMO is a lot more safer and a lot more profitable strategy. Okay? In fact, it has a lot less work as well, because on rent to rent, you have guest changes almost every day or every week. With rent to HMO, that's not the case. When people come, they stay at least 6 months. Okay? So there's a lot less work. It's a lot more safer, and there's a lot more money consistently that you can make. Okay? So rent to HMO is when you have very, very little money to create the cash flow for yourself, so you can get to a point where you can do flips and or developments in the future. So that's your personal strategy. When you have a little bit of money, that's when you want to focus on flips, okay, which is called the BRR as well. So buy, refurb, refinance, or sell, whatever your strategy might be, okay? It's always good to buy, refurb, refinance, and rent, so you don't kind of lose the asset. If you've worked on it, you keep it in your portfolio. When you have a little bit of money, like maybe 100 grand plus, you do a flip or a BRR strategy. When you have lots of money, you do developments, okay? But here is the tricky bit, okay? Within all of this, if you manage to get the experience, you can work on planning uplifts, which does not require a lot of money. I'll give you an example. We did a planning uplift deal where we agreed on the deal with an option agreement. That was a £1 agreed option agreement. So we only paid £1. We agreed the option at 1.1 million. It was a large detached house. We got the planning permission for 8 units, which was 2 semis and 6 flats. We sold the option agreement for 1.7 million after getting the planning permission. Our expenses was 20 grand between legals, architect, and the planning team. We made 600 grand in profits without doing any work except working on the planning uplift. Please raise your hand if you can see what I'm talking about. Our investment, 20 grand. We made 600 grand in profits just with one planning uplift deal. But unfortunately, you cannot do this unless you have substantial on-ground experience. We have Alan here, who's been a project manager for the longest period of time. He's working on a deal like this as we speak. It's kind of a hybrid one, okay? But he's working on a deal like that behind the scene as we speak, okay? But for that, like I said, you need on-ground substantial experience, okay? But going back to your personal strategy, please stick to this, okay? If you have very little money, you focus on rent to HMOs, not rent to rent. If you have a little bit of money, focus on flips. If you have a bit more money, focus on multi-unit developments. In the middle of all of this, get some on-ground experience so you can work on planning uplifts. In the middle of all of this, we have commercial to resi conversions, we have the hotel conversions. There's lots of things that you can do in the middle of all of this. Okay, but this is your personal strategy. Please do not go away from this. You're only going to struggle. I see lots and lots of people, even when I share with them, they call me back 6 months later and say, well, I haven't progressed. Why? Oh, I'm trying to do a flip. Sorry, you said you don't have any money. Oh, I'm looking for investors. Why? Focus on rent to HMOs if you don't have money. Why are you looking for investors? Look, you can find investors. I'm not saying that. But you need lots and lots of persuasion skills. If you don't have persuasion skills, keep practicing, but stick to the strategy. Okay? Because if you stick to the strategy, you learn your persuasion skills in the middle, you learn on-ground project management skills and planning uplift skills. You can do this as you go along, but at least start to learn to create your cash flow. Without cash flow, you're not going anywhere. Okay? So the next time, if you call me and say, I don't have money and I'm doing a flip project or a development project, okay, I'm going to say, go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Okay, which is first go and create your cash flow. If you are an experienced developer and you do not have money to invest and you want to do a large project, then reach out to me and I can get you connected with the family office. You go and find a decent deal. You have very little of your own money. I can find you most of the money through a family office. That's fine. But that's when you are you're an experienced project manager. This applies to someone like Alan. Even though I'm not saying he doesn't have money, he has money invested in properties. Okay? But at the moment, he doesn't have cash, which is cash flow. He's reached out to me, but unfortunately, his criteria does not meet the family office criteria. So I'm trying to help him find private investors. But remember, he has the advantage of life as well as project management experience. Please raise your hand if you can see through what I'm trying to say. Please raise your hand. I want to see you understand the basics of this. So if, let's say, you do not have any money, please stick to rent to HMO. We will get to the flips part, we'll get to the developments part once you have on-ground experience of managing a few properties. Okay, I own 4 hotels. Right now, I still have 3 hotels which are getting managed virtually. I do almost zero work. 3 hotels that are getting managed virtually. Why am I sharing this? Sharing because I have managed to gain experience in the field. You can get to that point when you gain on-ground experience. Okay, I have buy-to-lets, I'm doing developments, I'm helping other people invest, I'm investing in other people's projects. There's lots of things that I'm doing behind the scenes. Again, not bragging, I'm a very humble person, I do it with a lot of humility, but the only reason I am doing it is purely because I've managed to gain on-ground experience and that I'm able to invest in different and multiple projects at a time. I'm raising right now, between me and a couple of other investors, we are refinancing some of our existing properties, raising $500,000 cash as we speak. Then we're going to connect to the family office that helps us raise 98% of the total cost of a development. So even if I take £500,000, which we are raising off our own money, and then connect that with a family office money, even if that's 5%, We are now looking at a £10 million development deal. Raise your hand if you see where I'm going with this. We are in the process of refinancing as we speak. Remember, I'm a finance broker. So I'm in the middle of raising £500,000. I'm going to take that, connect with the family office money. I've got now anywhere between £7 to £10 million development deal happening behind the scene. I'm already putting offers in on the deals. I'm already doing all of this behind the scene as we speak. Okay. Again, why am I sharing this? Because the basics don't change. Basics don't change. You still need to, create your own community. You still need to nurture those relationships. You still need to connect with private investors. Remember, £500,000 that's being raised. This is my own money as well as private investors' money. Private investors' money. This is not all of my own money. Okay. And then I'm bringing the family office money, which has a very strict criteria to meet. Okay. You cannot bring family office money unless you meet their criteria. Okay. These are family offices, worth millions and billions. They have a very strict criteria. You bring a deal that meets their criteria, they will put in the money anywhere $1 million plus up to, sort of unlimited. Okay. So one of the biggest deals that there are multiple deals that I've done behind the scene. I'm going to share with you how we've done these deals. Okay. So I did a deal. I brokered a deal that was £14 million deal. Okay. I brought the finance for that deal. I did another finance deal behind the scene, which was a 4.2 million cost, 6 million GDV project deal, which was in West London. Okay. The £14 million was a it's kind of a portfolio all over UK that we did. Okay. I did another deal. In fact, I'm going to mention this so people can see through this. Okay. The Sourced franchise. Okay. It's a big flop. I get more Sourced franchises approach me for funding than they approach the Sourced, right? They're so fed up of Sourced because they can't raise money. They end up calling me. One of the Sourced franchises reached out to me. We did a £2.4 million funding for them. Okay. Not every deal goes through. Many deals struggle, I must say. But at the same time, we end up doing deals that even Sourced franchise struggle to do. Okay. Again, why am I sharing all of this with you? Okay. Then here is a deal that I did personally for myself. Okay. I ended up doing a flip deal. Okay. In a very tricky or a creative way through COVID. Okay. And I think some of you, I think Seti was there. Who else was there at that time? So Seti is here. He was at that time with me, where we bought a deal in Slough. I ended up getting a £45,000 discount on that deal from the market value. We spent about 85 grand refurbing that deal. Okay, we added equity worth 120 grand on that deal. And then I ended up renting that property out. That property is rented out at the moment at £1,950. The mortgage on that deal is £1,200. So I still make £750 in passive income. I'm now refinancing that deal as we speak. I'm pulling out over 100 grand from that deal, and I'm now taking that 100 grand from that deal, as well as another deal that I did. I'm going to share that deal with you. I bought a 31-bed hotel. When I bought that hotel, I ended up getting almost just shy of 50% discount. So the deal was worth about 350 grand. It was a 20-bed hotel when I took over. We ended up adding another 11 rooms on top of that. We spent about 65 grand on top to refurb. We paid 220. The day it was we bought, it was valued at 350. We took it at, we bought it at 220, so we got 130 grand discount. We ended up spending about 60 grand on top, so the cost to us is about 280. Now it's valued at £500,000. And now we've leased that hotel out. We bought that all cash, freehold, no mortgage, no loan, no nothing. We've now rented out that hotel at £47,000 per annum on rental income. Okay, so we're getting that £47,000 in rental income coming to us. I added another 11 rooms by refurbing that hotel and then giving out on a FRI lease for 5 years. Okay, Raise your hand if you can see through. We did this deal in 6 months. 6 months. If you could do a deal like this in 6 months and create 47 grand net passive income, raise your hand if you like that deal. Okay? I'm just sharing with you the tip of the iceberg, okay? We did another deal, which was a 4 million GDV project in Wembley. We made 23% profit margin on a 4 million. Raise your hand if you can calculate that. That's about 900 grand in profits. Okay? That was not me alone, but there were 4 other investors alongside us. There was a senior project manager, as well as investor. I was an investor as well as a operations manager on the deal. So I actively was involved in the deal. I did the finance of that deal. I also did all the operations work within the deal. And then we ended up completing that deal back in 2019, right before COVID. Okay, that was in Wembley. 8 new units, 6 flats and 2 semis. Okay, like I said, I can share with you lots and lots of deals behind the scene that I get to see. Here is another good one that I can share with you. Okay, a landlord approached me. He had a 25 million pound portfolio. He had a situation going on where he had a legal case on him, where he was fined 1.3 million pound that he had to raise within 28 days. I ended up refinancing his portfolio, which I shared earlier with you, which was a 14 million pound refinance deal. We ended up refinancing that deal at 14 million, raising 1.3 million extra. And then they were able to pay off through the court the fine, and then being able to raise more money to be able to grow their portfolio further. Okay? Some of the stuff that we see behind the scene is so interesting. Like, I come across people with portfolios where they're making no money because the interest rates have gone up, and because they bought bad deals, that means market value deals, their portfolio is worth nothing. Okay, like I had someone approach me, 5 million pound portfolio. He's actually in negative equity now and making 0 money on his portfolio. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay, just because when he was growing his portfolio, all he did was borrow money, buy market value. Now he's in trouble. Why would you buy below market value? Why would you buy market value? If you are a real investor, you learn how to find below market value properties. You would buy discounted 20, 30, 40, 50% discounted market value properties. So when things go south, that you're still on the safer side. Okay? My portfolio at the moment is so low leveraged that I am sitting on so decent passive income. I don't have to work a day in my life. And I've done this literally in the past 5 years. Last 5 years, okay? Like literally created all of this passive income that I'm talking about just in the last 5 years. Okay? 3 hotels being managed, 1 I sold, 3 hotels being managed, virtually by other people. 1, obviously 2 under hybrid management, 1 leased out for 5 years, and then I have 2 more buy-to-lets, and then I have the PN running 99% virtually behind the scene, where we get funding done, where we get property deals done. 99% of all of this is virtual stuff going on, and I'm sitting on passive income. Please raise your hand if you can see through this, okay? I'm just sharing with you the reality. All I do behind the scene is marketing. All I do is behind the scene marketing. All I do is nurture the community. All I do is connect with investors, developers, landlords. And I make sure that there are deals happening behind the scene, which we make money from, either from overage or funding deals or connecting people in the right way. We make money from that. Raise your hand if you can see through the business model. Okay? It's not very difficult, okay? You can do this if you just learn a bunch of skills. One is leadership, which is learning to be able to lead a team effectively. Persuasion skills, which is being able to get a yes from people. That means your stakeholders, that's your landlords, your investors, your builders, architects, planners, consultants, and so on and so forth. Okay. Your strategy skills, that means the strategy that I shared with you, as in the sense, if you don't have any money or very little money, you have little money or you have lots of money, stick to your strategy. Unfortunately, I come across so many people and I speak with them. Let's say I spoke with someone 2 years ago and they said, I don't have any money. What do I do? And 2 years later, I shared with 2 years ago, I shared with them, focus on this strategy. They didn't do it. 2 years later, same positions, same space, they've not improved. Why? They're just not prepared to stick to the strategy. Not prepared to stick to the strategy. Stick to your strategy. It's not rocket science. If you have very little money, focus on rent-to-HMOs. Keep building your community till you get to a point where you can connect with investors, connect with landlords, connect with developers, learn on ground how to do a development, learn on ground how to do a flip, learn on ground how to find below market value deals. I'm going to continue sharing some of this stuff, okay? I'm going to share with you how you can find below market value deals, okay? I'm going to share with you how you can find cheaper hotels so you can create cash behind that. Just bear with me, I want to drink some water. All right, guys, I'm actually going to now share with you some of the strategies that I'm talking about. But before I go ahead, please ask me questions. I want to see what are you thinking at the moment. Natasha, I can see you top of the list. Please open your mic, share about yourself, and share what is it that the questions you might have in your mind. Rajesh, I can see your hand. I'm not sure if Natasha can hear me. Rajesh, please go ahead.
Hi, sorry, Jack. Yeah, you were saying about rent-to-rent HMOs.
Rent-to-HMOs, yes.
Yeah, the thing is, if you haven't done any rent-to-rent HMOs, what do? You source the deals for them, or you contact the landlords? How do you help them in a way that they're willing to give you one of their properties to do the rent-to-rent HMO? Do you see what I mean?
Fantastic question. If you don't have on-ground track record, why would they give it to you? Okay. I remember I was asked this question by Muzzy. I don't know if anyone of you here knows Muzzy. Okay. He manages a bunch of rent-to-rent properties. He used to be a part of our he still is a part of our inner circle, but he was a member when he joined right from the start of PEN. I said to him, when you join PEN, when you are speaking with other stakeholders, either landlords, please do not use the word I. Use the word we. That means you speak as a network rather than as an individual. So if they say we, they will ask you, who are you talking about? Just say my network. Okay. So the network could be, let's say, PEN. And that means it's not just your experience, but the experience of the network that you're bringing on the table. Okay. So now they say, okay, can you prove your track record? You at that point reach out to me and I will find you someone who's got track record in that particular strategy, who will give his portfolio track record as a CV that you can present and say, look, this person is working alongside me. Here is the track record.
Okay.
That's exactly what I did with Muzzy. I said to him, don't say, don't use the word I, use the word we. And when they ask for track record, give my track record. So he ended up giving my track record to build his company. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. If you observe me, I try the least to use the word I. I try my level best. You sometimes have to use the word contextually, I or me. But in most cases, I use the word we, because if, let's say, you ask me a question and I've not got an answer to that, I will say, you know what, I will bring someone who has got an answer to that. Okay, because it's not just me alone, it's the network. I'm connected with such experienced developers or seasoned investors that like literally I can call someone who's got 40 plus years of experience. Okay, I am 44 years old. So my experience is, let's say, 20 plus years. I can bring someone who's got 40 years experience. So if you ask me a question and I don't know, I'm just going to say, you know what, I'll go and ask that person, or I'll bring that person on a session like this. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Rajesh.
Yes,
Alan, I can
thank
see
you,
your
Jack.
hand up. Yeah, so sorry, Rajesh, go ahead.
So if say if in my local area, Sutton, between Wimbledon and Croydon, I know Croydon there'll probably be quite a few landlord HMOs. So my
yeah, there's loads.
The
and
best
there's
thing would
loads
be
of networking events in Croydon. It's a big area.
Yeah, I went to 2 networking events recently, but they were both in London. But I'm looking around local areas. So when I'm introducing myself, do I say, well, look, how do you pitch to them in a way that they'll say, well, yeah, this person seems to have a chat
When you're
with?
meeting the first time, Rajesh, don't pitch.
Okay.
You don't pitch the first time. Raise your hand if you pitch the first time you've met someone.
What's wrong with you? I haven't done a pitch yet, so I haven't worked out my pitch yet.
Do not pitch when you meet someone the first time, man. Just don't. It doesn't work. You're wasting your time. Okay? You get to know the person first, right? Is this person even interested in what is it that you have to offer? Okay? The way I do it is, I'm gonna give you an answer, Rajesh. The way I do it is, I invite people into my community, our community, okay? And then I nurture that relationship. Nurture that relationship. Okay? Once that relationship is nurtured enough, and that's when I will say, would you like me to share with you what I do? But unless that relationship is not nurtured enough, I wouldn't go and pitch it to anyone. Remember, 30 plus touch points before someone gives you a yes. You go and meet someone the first time you start pitching. What's going to happen? He's going to give you a no. That's a push effect, not a pull effect. Okay? Get to know the person well enough. What is it that that person wants? Okay, let me share with you something very interesting about human nature. At the core, most human beings want the same things. They want freedom, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of relationships. Are you with me? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay? They want very, very similar things at the core. Okay? They want to have, income freedom. Like they shouldn't have to think, they shouldn't have to do anything. Like they shouldn't have to even work to be able to pay their bills. That's what human beings want. They want to be able to spend time as and when and where they like. But if you know how to find really good deals, if you know how to manage those deals, if you know how to make those deals profitable, and if you can convey that after creating trust, I insist, after creating trust, that means a pull effect, why wouldn't they do business with you? Okay? But it's about creating that trust. It's about nurturing those relationships to a point where it's a pull effect, like brings so much value that it blows someone's mind. Locadia, I'm going to come back to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So after this session, first of all, by the end of this session, I promise you, you'll go back and you'll have a lot more clarity. After this session, I'm going to give you access to 185 hours of trainings. That's covering all the strategies in the property, leadership, strategy, persuasion, marketing, networking, creating your own community, all of that for absolutely free. Tell me, what is it that I'm trying to create?
A relationship.
A pull effect. Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
But you might ask me, what's the catch? Why are you doing this? Ask me.
What's the catch?
No, I'll tell you what the catch is, okay? When you keep nurturing these relationships, Locadia, when the next time you want to do a deal, and when you see my experience or our experience, who are you going to approach?
You.
Likely, and I hope that's me. Okay, I'm gonna put this down and share hands because I'm sharing this with humility. Okay, I likely hope that you get value and that pull effect is created so you can approach me the next time you want to do a deal, then you want to do a deal with me. And that the next time when you speak with an investor or a developer or a landlord that you can't help, that you reach out to me and say, look, I know someone else who can help you, and then I can get a deal across the line. Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm playing a long-term game. Okay, I have people who have approached me 5 years after they connected with me the first time. And now they said, you know what, Jack, can you help me fund a deal? Can you help me get this deal across the line? Or can you help me sell this deal? Or would you like to do a JV with me on this deal? Just because for the longest of the time, 5 years, I kept nurturing those relationships. If you play a short-term game, unfortunately, property is the wrong space for you. It's a long-term game. It's not short-term, not even medium-term. It's a long-term game. It's a long-term game of building portfolio so low leveraged that you create enough passive income to be able to live a life of freedom. Can you see where I'm going this? Can you see my both hands up? Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Okay, but you need to create that pull effect. When I started all of this, Locadia, I charged absolutely nothing. In many cases, even right now, we don't charge a lot. We charge very little money. But at the same time, we bring so much value to make sure that we create this community so we can get deals across the line. That means we close deals so everyone makes money out of it. Are you with me in this, Locadia?
Yeah, I mean it. I understand
Okay.
because these people who are charging thousands and thousands in training, obvious, they lose people because with time you realize you're not gaining anything.
So Locadia, now I'm going to give you, for example, these trainings. Trainings is something you watch, but unless you don't apply that on ground, what's going to happen?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. But when you take that learning and say, now I'm going to go and do a deal, what will happen? You start to have on ground experience. Let me share something with you that someone with 40 years experience shared with me. He goes, show me an investor who says he's not done a bad deal, and I'll tell you a liar. I'll repeat. Someone with 40 plus years of development experience said, show me someone who says he's not done a bad deal, and I'll show you a liar. That even with 40 years experience, you could do a bad deal. But if you keep persistent, if you stay persistent and keep doing deals, what's going to happen?
You learn.
So when you shared with me, Locadia, right at the start, and I'm sharing this with everyone, but I'm taking your name because you said you gave up, and I hate that. I hate that because someone says they gave up purely because you've just been given, like, it's almost like you've been sold 20 grand worth of trainings, which were probably worth nowhere close to that. Okay. And you didn't get any value out of it. Now I want to see that we can bring so much value to you that you look back and say, I got 20 grand worth of value and I paid nothing for it. Okay. Or I maybe paid very, very little for it. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. That's exactly what I want by the end of this session. Okay. So guys, please ask me questions because I will take Q&As now, and then I will continue with the strategies. Okay, Alan, you had a question, please.
Hi, Jack. Yes, I hear what you say about the rent to HMOs, and my interest is not in that market. My interest is in development, and so I'm looking for deals, which I get quite a few in my pipeline. So my preference is to connect with people who've got money, who can fund the deals. But one consistent obstacle is the planning approval. So like, for example, I've got one hotel, 59-bedroom hotel just up the road. It's closed down, and it's suitable for other uses, but of course it's subject to planning permission. So do you have any ideas about that, about, you know, how to overcome that issue?
So yeah, this is a very good question, Alan, and my answer is in the gray session. Okay, so there's black and white. There's no black and white answer to this. Okay, but there's a gray answer for you. Okay, so what's happening in the industry at the moment is, because of all of this rent to rent space, a lot of hotels are struggling.
Yeah,
that's exactly why the rent to rent is getting more and more regulated.
Yeah,
the more they will regulate rent to rent, the more hotel business will start to come back. Are you with me?
Yes, I hear you. Yes, yes.
But at the same time, hotels are struggling at the moment. And unfortunately, most towns or sea towns or wherever the hotels are, these councils are very, very skeptical allowing change of use.
Yes.
They're very skeptical. So it's really a fight with the councils to help them understand, look, hotels are struggling because of all of this rent to rent. That it is really high time that you allow us change of use.
Yes.
Okay. But I think what you need is, imagine, give me an example of the area that you're talking about.
Well, I'm in area GU, which is the Guildford area.
Guildford area. So let's say in Guildford area, you've got a bunch of hotels. Let's say there is, 50 hotels. Okay.
Yeah.
Guildford is a very posh area. So likely there's going to be at least 50 odd hotels, probably in and around, and they're going to be very posh hotels. Okay.
Sure.
So imagine if you reached out to all of these 50, okay, and had a genuine conversation and say, look, are you actually struggling? And if you are struggling, would you like to sign a petition?
Yeah.
And then take that petition to the council.
Yeah.
That is the only thing I can think about, Alan. I think you already know I am in a similar space.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
And one of our hotels has the potential to get an extension at the top. Okay, like a complete new floor. Okay.
Yes.
But at the same time, the council in that region is so strict, like they're old school. They don't want to know anything. They don't want to hear changes. All of that. The only way for me to be able to persuade these guys is really be very objective on ground, which is saying, go and sign, the town that I am in, there's 800 plus hotels. So I could go and, if I really want to do this, I could go and reach out to these 800 plus landlords, hotel owners, and say, look, if you are really struggling, would you like to sign this petition of change of use, extension, refurb, so on and so forth, and then reach out to the council? Because at that point now, you're first being very, very objective with the data. Second, you have signed petitions from these people. And at that point, councils really will have to consider, right? They have to be stupid not to.
Sure, they've got to be realistic. Yes.
They've got to be realistic. Again, it's a lot of work. I understand that. Like I said, there's no clear black and white answer, but that is the only way I can think about to deal with it.
But it gets you in front of the owners, doesn't it, for a conversation?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Jack.
You're bringing objective data in front of them to say, look, you need to consider this.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jack. Yeah.
I'm talking about a town that has 800 plus hotels.
Yeah.
My understanding is, of those 800, at least 400 are going to close in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Councils, being councils, old school, either they can see through or not, and even if they are able to see through, they're not prepared to take a major decision.
Yeah, sure. That's the problem. They've got ostrich syndrome. Yeah.
So really, the only way is reach out to these people, get lots of data, sign the petition, and then take it and say, look, this is where I'm at. What do you think? And then I think that would definitely help you get change of use,
Yes.
if nothing else. Yeah.
Yes. Great. Thanks very much, Jay.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a few more hands up. Rajesh, go ahead. Do you still have a question?
Yeah. Jack, you were saying about starting with rent-to-rent HMOs, looking at local landlords, and is it best to go direct to landlord or use estate and letting agents? This is what I was going to ask. And once
Best is always direct to landlords, buddy.
Okay.
Always
So,
direct to landlord. Remember, like I said, if you agents are never going to put you in front of the landlord.
yeah.
And if you're not in front of the landlord, it's not easy to get a yes. I mean, with the persuasion skills and the grow model, if you keep practicing, you can even reach out to the agents and you're likely to get some deals, but you won't get a lot of them. You're likely to attract more rent-to-HMO deals by approaching the landlords directly.
Okay. And
Okay.
with the with the landlords, probably the best things is either via social media or leafleting, or what would you say?
So Facebook groups, LinkedIn Premium,
LinkedIn
and
Premium.
local
Okay.
LinkedIn Premium, local networking events.
Okay.
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 Look, let me share with you something so you can see through a bit more. When I did my first event, no one turned up. I cried back home. I'm an alpha man. Literally, I cried back home.
I find it hard
Okay.
to believe that no one turned up.
No one turned up. The second one I did, 12 people turned up. I did a large event. We had 723 registration. 723. Okay, that was in 2022.
So very
Okay.
recent then, not that
2
long
years ago. So,
Yeah.
so if you don't do your own events, you're not really going to go too far, unfortunately. You need to do your own events. You need to create your own community. You need to build those relationships. You need to nurture those relationships. You really need to start serving and without expectations. That's how you build a community. That's how you do business.
Just one question. When you're talking about events, is it better to do like a webinar like this, or do live events now that
Both.
people?
Both.
Okay. All right.
Both.
Thanks.
Okay. I am more inclined towards virtual events purely because, I mean, right now I'm actually in India, in Delhi. Okay. So I physically was not able to do like a physical event, but when I'm in London, I write in the group and say, look, I am in so-and-so place. Would you like to grab a coffee? In the evening, we 5, 10, 20 people meet. I do that every single time because I want to keep nurturing those relationships. Okay, so you got to consistently speak with landlords. You got to consistently bring landlords in front of you. You got to consistently bring investors in front of you. It's almost like if you don't do this consistently throughout your property journey, you're going to keep struggling. Okay, and it's never easy. Remember, even right now, I can pick up my phone and call 50 plus investors. I mean 50 plus investors. Okay, right now, people that I have known for a long period of time, but there's still no guarantee that the money will be lined up because I have a deal lined up. Maybe the timing won't match. The number of times when I found a deal and tried to match it with an investor and it doesn't work is like, it's just unbelievably high. And there are times when I would have an investor approach me and say, look, I've got, 300 grand sitting around. Can you find me a deal? All of a sudden, 24 hours later, the deal gets done. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready for both. That means be prepared to lose a deal because an investor's timing does not match with yours, and vice versa. That means an investor approaches you, and now you have a ready deal, which you were thinking, oh, it's not going to happen because there's no one ready. But you need to be ready at any given time for both. You need to keep nurturing. Can you see where I'm going with this? It's a consistent process.
Is it better to get the investor? This seems to be a chicken and egg situation here. Is
It's
it better to get the investor
process.
or the deal, or to get both at the same time?
Simultaneously. simultaneously. You can't say you're going to find a deal and look for an investor later. And you can't say you're going to look for an investor and find, you're going to work on both simultaneously. Okay, so I tend to go and find a deal and then look for an investor. And there are times when an investor would approach me and then I would go and find a deal. Okay, so it works both ways. Colin, go ahead, please ask me. Colin, I think you have your hand up. Go on.
Did you say that rent to rent would be a good way to start if I had just say a few £1,000s to invest?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. But how would I do the due diligence to make sure that the deal is good or I can trust them?
Okay, so it's trust who? The landlord.
Yeah, or the person offering the deal, the person promoting.
Okay, so remember, guys, just because a landlord says I'm going to give you the properties doesn't mean you just go ahead and take those properties. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to be able to trust. It's a two-way street. Okay. You can't just say, oh, someone comes and says, oh, I'm struggling with my existing agent. Can you help me find manage my properties? And you jump all over the place. Oh, I'm excited. I'm able to find deals. No, it's a two-way street. You need to be able to trust that person. Because if you don't trust that person, and this guy plays you later, you could get in some trouble. Raise your hand if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to be able to get to know that person and know that this guy is not trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. I have dealt with enough people in my life. I'm going to share with you some of the stuff about leadership skills as well. Okay. But I've dealt with enough people now to be able to realize if someone is trouble. Okay. Raise your hand if some of you can see through when I block people or I remove people from the groups.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. I do it because I don't trust those people. Okay. And I know that they're going to be trouble either for me or someone in our PN community that will eventually lead to issues. Okay. So just because you want the business does not mean you just start doing business with someone. You need to be able to trust that person. Okay. Yeah, Colin, I'm going to answer your question in detail.
Yeah,
just give me one
second. I've seen deals shared in your group, for example, rent to rent, hands-off investment, get started with a few £1,000s.
Be careful, be careful, buddy.
They'll need to do the
be very careful. Be very careful. Yeah. So the way I do it is, first of all, I need to know the person, irrespective of who it is.
Yeah.
If I'm not able to trust that person, I'm not doing business with that person. I'm just not going to do business with that person. I need to be able to trust that person. Once I've got to know that person a bit more, and I trust that person to some extent, I don't have to completely trust that person. Remember, I'm not marrying that person. That person is not going to live with me. I just need to be able to trust that person to a level where I say, okay, you know what? This person is not dishonest. Okay. Or this person is not going to cheat. Okay. That's all I need to know. Okay. Once I get to that level, remember the GROW model. The GROW model allows you to get to know the person. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So the R stands for reality. So my question, if I wanted to get to know you, Colin, I would ask you, tell me a bit more about yourself. Where are you based? What are you focused on? What is it that you do? That's your reality. Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
And I would ask leading questions, as in the sense, whatever you tell me, I will now ask a deeper question to get to know you more in depth. Open questions, starting with what, why, how, when, so on and so forth. Yeah. And then the goals would be, Colin, now tell me, what would you like to achieve in the next 5 years? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Can you see where I'm going with this? Okay. That's how you get to know a person. Now, coming back to due diligence. Okay. Look, in this session, there is only so much I can cover. But a rent to rent is pretty simple. To give you an example, okay, a deal that I actually got done, I can give you the numbers on that deal. Okay. So it's a property in East London. It's a 7-bed HMO. Every room rents out for about 800 to 900 a month. Okay. Let's say now you go and take that property. Let's say even if you take 900 a month times by 7, how much is that? You want to calculate that? My phone is not with me. Colin, do you want to do the numbers? 900 times
6,300.
times 7?
6,300.
6,300, yeah.
And times that by 12?
75K. 75,600.
75, let's say 75 grand. Okay. Now you know that this property is going to generate 75K. You can find out how much you can charge for a room through spare room and many other channels. Yes? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Yeah. Even when you visit the local news agents, you can actually see, clippings there, and you can see how much they're charging locally. Yes. So that gives you data on how much you can charge. And then you charge 15% management fee. You then deduct all the bills, and that's when you're left with the rent. Are you with me? It's not very difficult to calculate this. Are you with me?
Sure. Yeah.
Are you with me in this? It's not very difficult. Look, in HMOs, the cost is rent, the bills, the utility bills, and your management fee. That's all there is, right? Is there anything else?
No.
That's all there is. If let's say the boiler is going to break down, do you have an insurance in place? The boiler insurance costs like what, 25 quid a month? Okay. If there is a major damage, there's insurance. If there is a minor damage, you have I've seen different kinds of negotiations where either the management company is responsible or the landlord is responsible, or maybe it's a hybrid version. Are you with me? So it all depends on how you negotiate the deal with the landlord. Are you with me? In most cases, I would have the wear and tear to be done by the landlord. Okay, so if there is some damp somewhere, some leak somewhere, something of plumbing, something to do with boiler, I would normally put it on the landlord. They're normally happy doing it. Okay, and then you take the utility bills on you, and then obviously whatever profit you're left with. Normally, one rent to HMO can make you 1,000 all the way up to in some cases I've seen about £3,000 in profits. Are you with me on this call?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah,
like I said, this session is not really about due diligence on something like this. But if you watch Colm, ask me at the end of the session. I'll give you access to the trainings if you don't already have them. One of the sessions that we did in those trainings was where we are doing due diligence on a rent-to-rent deal. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anyone has any other questions? Moro, do you have any questions?
No, Jack, just listening. Just listening.
Rajesh, do you have any questions? I'm going to go through, ask everyone. If you have any questions, then I'll continue.
Yeah, Jack, going back to what you were saying about rent-to-rent HMOs, when it comes to, it may be relevant, may not be relevant, but do you need to set up a limited company, or do you need to do it as a self-employed until you get, like a
always under a limited company, buddy.
Okay.
Always under a limited company. Purely because if something was to go wrong and someone comes and sues you or claims on something on you, if it's a limited company, at least you don't lose nothing personal.
Okay. And one more question. You were talking about inviting people to your community. Is it worthwhile joining other groups, especially if you haven't got no money, on a free basis, or joining, because sometimes you get these other property, I call them gurus actually rather than experts, to join their communities, but to pay for the communities like in a subscription model.
It's a test and try, Rajesh. It's a it's a trial thing. Okay. I even right now pay for another community to join, but it's a large
to build
community.
Your network. Is that to build your network?
So I have joined another network to build my own network as well, but I only pay like £10 a month. Okay.
Just about now.
So there's no harm in trying, but it's more like a trial and error. So you might join a few where you don't see value, others you'll join and you see value. It's a trial and error thing.
But
I tend to only join.
I am part of one of them, and that has been value. And the guy that was there was actually at a networking event that I attended to. It was in central London, and I picked his brains, and he's very well connected. Very similar to yourself. Obviously, he does structured financing, and he was talking about strategic partnerships. You know, is that he said that joint venture is one strategic partnership, but when you're starting out, like you said, would it be better to focus on the rent and HMOs, build a track record, build the credibility, and then go into like something like that?
Please, yes, stick to your strategy. Okay, like I said, the number of people who approach me, you know, sometimes I spoke with them 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. At that point, they didn't join our network. I spoke with them. 3 years later, they ring me. They're in the same space, and I think, you know, I shared with you 3 years ago to focus on this strategy. Why didn't you do it? It's not, guys, please, it's not about learning. It's about doing it.
A lot of people, I think, are scared.
It's about
taking
Rajesh,
action.
Rajesh, it's about bleeding on the ground. It's called bleeding on the ground. The more you practice before the war, the less you will bleed on ground. What you're doing right now is practicing. So the more you attend sessions like this, the less you will bleed on ground. That means you lose less money. But I promise you, it's about bleeding on the ground. It's not about sitting on the sides and saying, you know what, I've learned this and I know this, and knowing does not do anything. It's about bleeding on the ground. I'm a broker, guys. I'm a finance broker. Even right now, I'm struggling to get refinance on the level that I want one of my properties to be on. If me being as a finance broker, struggling to refinance at a certain level, why do you think I'm talking about bleeding on the ground? It's almost like I'm on the ground and I'm bleeding, losing time, because there are certain deals that I want to grab and I can't do it because the funding is taking time. I had another hotel which took 8 months of legals, and I needed the lease documents to be able to refinance. It took 8 months of legals. It's what you call 8 months of bleeding. Can you see where I'm going with this, guys? Okay? You need to bleed on ground. You need to learn on ground by getting deals done. I close, on average, a combination of funding deals, selling deals, my own deals, and helping other do deals. I probably close about 1 a week. Raise your hand if you can see what I mean. I may only make sometimes £200 a deal, and there are other times I may make a £250,000 from a single deal. But I'm actively working behind the scene to close deals. And that's what you call on the ground experience. And many times, I promise you, like I'm sharing with you, that I actually bleed. Like time wasted, legals, there's another legals going on. It's been going on for like 4 months. They've done nothing. They've done nothing. Okay? There's another deal that's been going on that I'm supposed to make £14,000 in just commission. Nearly 8 months, nothing has happened. There's another deal that is supposed to close and hasn't closed. There's another deal that I'm supposed to get 30 grand commission from that's been going on for 2 years.
2 years.
Okay, 2 years, yeah. You know what you call bleeding on ground, okay? Like you look back, but at the same time, when you're consistently working behind the scene and you're trying to get funding deals done, JV collaborations done, you're trying to close your own deals, you're trying to do your own investments, you're trying to do JV collaborations, you know, you're trying to sell deals. You know, when you're trying to do all of that consistently, then the volume picks up over a period of time and you're compounding that. That's when you get to the level of, closing 1 deal a week. Okay, but you can only do it when you have, it's almost like, what is fear? Fear is like, okay, you only get fear when you think short term. When you're thinking long term, I mean, I am not selling any of my properties. Okay, just because it's a seller, it's not a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. Okay, so I'm gonna buy. In fact, I'm not even thinking short term, medium term. I'm thinking 20 years down the line. So my job is to make sure that either I make lots of money on the commission side, or I end up buying below market value deals for ourselves to add into the equity portfolio. Raise your hand if you know what I mean, what I'm saying. Okay, so I could go and buy a below market value property now, 30% discounted, buy, keep it for 6 months, go back and refinance, pull out 30% equity, then go and take that money and keep growing my portfolio. Raise your hand if you see where I'm going with this. Okay, but it's a consistent effort. Sometimes you start with something, it doesn't quite happen. Other times, when you keep doing this consistently over a period of time and you keep compounding of deals, compounding of funding, compounding of landlords, compounding of investors, compounding of the network, you get to that point. Okay, but that's only when you're bleeding on ground, trying to get deals over the line. Okay, like I literally have, in fact, the other day, I went back, I normally tend to do follow-ups on all of my deals or inquiries, okay? So I ended up going back, and I remember looking back at 350 plus. I repeat, just hear me out, okay? 350 plus either active cases or inquiries. Raise your hand if you know where I'm going with this, okay? And now, are you surprised that I'm closing a deal a week? Are you surprised? There's no surprise. 350 plus active inquiries or cases going. I'm likely going to close a deal a week. And that deal, like I said, could bring only £200 a week, or could bring, you know, £250,000 at the back of that in equity. You never know. I'm trying to get a deal done, another deal, which is 30% discounted. It's a £6 million portfolio. If we get that deal over the line, probably going to walk away with £100,000 just in profits, just commission. Okay. Another deal that came to me yesterday, which is a hotel which I used to own. I get the deal over the line, I make about 10 grand. Okay. You really need to be doing deals. I insist on doing them and not just standing on the edge and thinking, how the hell is this happening? This is happening because we are nurturing a community, we are building a community, we are creating a community. And we are serving that community without expectations. Many times deals don't close. You know, they're dropped out last minute. Things go wrong. All of this is normal. I made a video some time ago where I shared with you, you know, how things go wrong behind the scene. You know, investors pulling out last minute, landlords pulling out last minute, legals going wrong last minute, people being scammed. In fact, I forgot to share one, which was I came across a landlord who had rented his HMO out. He walked into the property, a dead body inside, someone got killed.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay. Please, guys, I'm talking about if you are not prepared to bleed on ground, you're not going to really build a portfolio. Okay. Like I can give you a very good example here of one person that I'm watching bleeding. That's Alan. Like this guy is persistent. Thank you, Alan. Be persistent. Be like what you're doing right now. It's just bleeding on the ground that you get deals over the line. Okay? I promise you, I am making calls for you at the behind the scene. It's just people are still scared. People are still scared. You know, when I say I am on it, I am always on it. Okay? I'm always doing my best. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. That's life. You got to face the reality. Okay? I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised someone calls me tomorrow and says, you know what, I've got $500,000. I bring you to him. He says, yes, you go ahead with it. I will not be surprised. It happens to me all the time.
Cheers, Jack. Thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that you need to bleed on ground. Like I said, right now, I am working alongside 2 investors to do a deal for ourselves, like add it into our portfolio. We are raising, between the 3 of us, we are raising a £500,000. And the aim is to invest into a deal that will just create net passive income. And my aim is to add another 2.5, 3 grand net passive income per month into our portfolio. So now, I have a certain passive income, and I want to add another 2.5, 3 grand on top of that. Okay. And I'm talking about net passive income. Okay. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because I'm connected with those investors. They trust me. And it's not just about trusting me, it's about strategically. So my strategy matches their strategy. But if I was to tell them, okay, can you take this money, invest it into another strategy like what Alan is working on, they're likely they're going to say no, because they are interested in a different strategy. They're not interested in another strategy. Are you with me? Please raise your hand if you know what I mean. It's what you call meeting a investor's expectations. So it's not just about helping them make more money. It's about helping them invest into something that they're more secure about. They may not be secure with the development. They might be secure with a hands-off investment, like a block of flats or a hotel or whatever that might be. Okay? Or a hybrid commercials, resi commercial. Okay? So you need to learn to match those expectations. Okay, I hope I have answered your question, Rajesh. Okay, so I'm going to continue. Do you guys have any more questions? Please raise your hand and ask me questions. I'm gonna pick on names because I wanna see that you're with me on this. Okay, Seti bro, do you have any questions?
Hey, no, it's been fantastic. I'm in the background. I'm just doing bits and bobs, but I'm in the background in listening mode.
Okay.
But it's been. Do you know what? I've actually. I'm not going to say nothing online, but me and you reach out later. I actually had an idea of what we could possibly do together.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
And
So
how
guys,
long?
Yeah.
I was going to say how long. Like we've known each other for that many years, and this could be the one.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Guys, can you see where I'm going with this? I call him brother. And the reason I call him brother, like he started with soul brother. We are like literally soul brothers, okay? But we really met through networking. We really just met through networking. Okay? I met him, in fact, I can't even remember how we and Seti met. And we ended up meeting in a cafe in London. I remember still meeting in a Pret in Chelsea. And we sat down, we had so much in common, families and values and so on, and beliefs and so on and so forth. But it was just really, I swear to God, just networking, just getting to know another human being on an emotional level and getting to know that person behind the scene. Who is this person? That's all there was. And can you see, I'm doing this session 2019, 2024, 5 years later, my brother comes here, I've got an idea, let's discuss. Can you see where I'm going with this? It's not rocket science, guys. It's just common sense. Getting to know a person and just being human. That's all it is. Thank you, brother. Adnan, do you have any questions, bro?
No, I'm just listening, Jack. It's all making sense. It's slowly coming together. I'm getting a clearer picture. Yeah, I know I've been bugging you for a little while, but you've never given up. Like you said, persistence, and it's definitely built up. Honestly, I've seen it now. It's made sense why you've actually pushed it, and I'm thinking, but it totally makes sense now on why you've been doing it. Yeah, it really does work. And I will be reaching out to you. Yeah, and I will be reaching out to you. They I will definitely will be reaching out to you. Yeah, it'd be yeah.
It's look, with me, I'm very, very straightforward. I want to do deals with you guys. I want to do deals. Okay. The money is in deals and nothing else. Okay. Like you could approach me with a deal. I could approach you with something else. Or maybe you approach me and say, I have an investor that potentially wants to invest. doesn't really matter how we get a deal across the line. We get a deal across the line, and there's 20, 30, 50 grand, sometimes even £500,000 at the back of that deal. If you are able to see through, and Adnan,
Yeah.
you've been in the groups like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4. In fact,
Yeah.
Adnan, you've been in these groups since 2018 or 19.
It must be. It must be. It's just that, you know what? Something I get in there, I get motivated. Something comes up. 6 months go past. I finish doing something and then I jump back on. But now I think I will be more persistent. I'm more deeply into, like I say, there's something in the pipeline. You know, that I definitely would want to discuss with you afterwards. And like I say, I definitely will be in touch with you very soon.
Listen, if you do 20 deals and one goes south, it becomes a good learning curve. Don't let this hype, like what I call delusional fear, stop you. You will do a bad deal, but just because you're going to do one bad deal, do not stop yourself. Do not stop yourself from doing those 19, 20, 30 good deals. Okay? Just really be persistent and go and carry on doing deals, like literally doing and getting deals over the line, either for yourself or others. It doesn't really matter, but it's about getting deals done. Okay? Thank you, bro. I am trying to, Tony, can you hear me? I'm just going to go through the list so it just becomes a bit more easier. Locadia, do you have any more questions? Mauro, Natasha?
I'd like to find out. I want to do flips. Will you just talk about flips, please?
I will sure cover all 3 levels, okay? Which is rent to HMOs a bit more. I'll cover flips as well with you. I'll share with you commercial. I'll also talk about developments and planning uplifts, okay? I promise I'll come back to you this, but do you have any more questions?
No.
All right, okay. I'm going to continue with the session of sharing about strategies, okay? So let's say we talked about rent to HMOs. I personally find them easy. They're not very difficult to do. All you got to do is connect with the local landlords. Again, it's not rocket science. There's data publicly available on local councils' websites. Sometimes you have to email them, call them, they'll send you the list. Also on LinkedIn Premium. I have taken LinkedIn Premium personally. I've connected with the local landlords. I've connected with local investors personally. I've done that. It works, guys. Okay? But learn to nurture those relationships really, really, really well. Because just because you find a person does not mean that they're going to give you business.
Yeah.
All it means is now you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Jack, I was going to ask, do you have a kind of a session of how to use LinkedIn Premium? Is that, how to sort of like, use it?
So what I tend to do, so here is what I did, okay? I used LinkedIn Premium when I started PEN, okay? I used it for about 3-4 months. I stopped using it. If you go on my LinkedIn now, Adnan, there's 17,000+ people connected, okay? You can actually see that there's 17,500+ people registered, or sorry, connected, not registered, connected, okay? Alone on the PEN, when we were building PEN, and I'm going to come back to on your LinkedIn question as well, okay? When we were building PEN, at one point, we were over 500,000 people within the PEN community. The biggest part of that was a group which we owned on Facebook, which had 450,000 people, okay? Which we had again built as well. That group was suspended by Facebook, okay? So we ended up losing a big. But to answer your question, I don't specifically have a section on LinkedIn. It's more about just nurturing those relationships and connecting with people. If you've got a message from me on LinkedIn and my team who virtually messages people, so on LinkedIn, I have a team that helps me out, that messages people. So if you get a message from me on LinkedIn, it's my virtual team helping me out, okay? So they message people, and it's all about serving. So if you've got this message, Rajesh has got this message, I know that, okay? So if you've got that message, you'll probably observe. If you don't know I will Adnan share that message with you, what we share, okay? It's all about serving. So we'll ask people, okay, please join our community and we'll give you access to, a certain number of training videos, book a call with me, one-to-one call with me, worth about £500. I mean, look, if you ask me to project manage something for you, okay, I charge £1,000 a day. Okay, so if you jump on a call with me for like an hour, I'm going to charge you £200-300. Okay, so when I go on to LinkedIn or the messages that we share on LinkedIn, and when they book a call with me, they can see value that they didn't pay nothing for. Okay, and all I do is I share my experience, right? Whatever I'm sharing right now, none of this is rocket science. It's just pure on-ground experience that I'm sharing with you, where either we did really well or we just bled. Are you with me? Okay.
Yep.
But we provide that value. We talk about our own experience on ground or what actually happened. Okay. And then if let's say you're still newbie in the industry, okay, provide free service. If let's say you're trying to build a rent-to-HMO or you're trying to do a flip, okay, jump on a call with the landlord, okay, and say, look, I'm going to give you this for free. I'm going to do it for 3 months for free for you. Even if it takes 6 months of free job, I'll do it for you if you sign a 2 years agreement. So what you're doing is you're signing a 2 years agreement. You're going to charge for 18 months. You're going to give 6 months free. You're just giving a 25% discount. Fine. When you're starting out, you have to do that. Okay. How many times do you see me like jumping on sessions like this, helping people out, sharing lots and lots of videos? Do I make any money at the back of that? No, I don't make any money. But what tends to happen is I create a pull effect that eventually leads to closing deals, that eventually leads to making money for everyone.
Makes sense,
okay?
yeah.
But it's all about seeing value. So when you approach someone on LinkedIn, let's say you took a premium now, and you can use the features to filter people according to location, according to job profile, according to the interest that they take. You can do all of this on LinkedIn Premium now. And it gives you a list of people that you can approach. You can message them as a private message, okay? And your message needs to be based on not taking for yourself, but serving, okay? When you come from the perspective of serving, I always tell people, change the word sales to serving, and everything changes. Okay, so when you're approaching someone, go from the perspective of, I want to help this person. I want to help this person. So first you find out from the grow model, how you find out what is this person finding challenging? What is their reality? Reality is there are challenges, right? And what is it that they want to achieve? Goals. And then opportunities. Opportunity would be, what is it that you do? What opportunity do you bring on the table? And then Will is asking the closing question, where would you like to go ahead? Are you with me on this, Adnan?
Yep. Totally
It's
understand.
just really persuasion skills. It's just really sales skills, guys. It's what you call interconnected leadership skills as well. I never look at leadership and sales as two different things. But you got to come from the perspective of serving. So either it is leadership or either it is persuasion. You always need to be thinking, how can I serve? How can I serve? How can I help this person? Are you with me on this?
Yep, indeed.
Okay. It's what they call serving leadership or server leadership. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Good
how
stuff.
you gotta approach anyone on LinkedIn. Like I said, in LinkedIn Premium, I know there are features now which allows you to shortlist people based on their profile, their interest, as well as their location.
Right.
I hope that answers your question to some extent.
Yep.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.
So rent-to-HMO, I was on. I find that very, very easy because you know where to find these landlords. LinkedIn Premium, Facebook communities, LinkedIn communities, and please do not forget massively WhatsApp communities. On top right away is PN. Do not hesitate to approach landlords there. I am personally not in the rent-to-HMO space. But there are landlords out there who are in the PN community. Don't hesitate to approach them. Okay, there are lots of other WhatsApp communities. I remember when I started, when we started PN community, WhatsApp community, there was very, very few people who were doing WhatsApp, using WhatsApp for marketing. We started WhatsApp, like we were the first one, I remember, using WhatsApp to do marketing in the property industry. Okay, so when you look at WhatsApp community now of PN and you see these many groups, there's 3 different communities under the PN umbrella, 3 different communities on WhatsApp. So when you see one, or if you're a part of the one, there's 2 more, or if you're a part of the 2, there's 3. So there's 3 different communities, but they were all built over a period of time, different perspectives, different strategies, and different purposes. Okay, but you need to be a part of that. And then at the back of that, you need to build your own community. In fact, let me share something very interesting with you guys. We are starting something called a partners program. Okay, so if you come and partner with us at PEN, we will help you build your own community. We'll help you build your own community. That is a community of investors, landlords, developers. We are starting something called a partners program. Okay, that's what I was talking about earlier. I'm not sure Colin is here. So we
got
are
it. Thanks. I'm just on a train now, but I heard you. Thanks.
Yeah, so you're here. Sorry, I couldn't see you on the screen, so I was like, okay, he's still here. So we're starting something called a partners program. Okay, and within that, you'll be able to come and join, not just join PEN, but at the same time create your own community at the back of that will help you grow your property business as well as portfolio at the back of that. Okay, but it's all about nurturing those relationships and creating your own community. Okay, so I just wanted to come and share that. And that's how you can find rent-to-HMO deals. Okay, it's about doing your own local events. How many times have I said this? Like just this bit of creating your own community, nurturing your own community, and doing your events. How many times have I said this? Probably about more times than required sometimes. Yes, but there's a reason for that, guys. You're not going to build a portfolio. You're not going to build a portfolio if you don't have a bunch of investors around you. You don't have a bunch of landlords around you. You're not going to build a portfolio, guys. You build a portfolio when you have landlords and investors. That's 2
and deals. And deals
deals
as well.
come from landlords. Rajesh, deals comes from landlords. Okay, so you need the landlords for deals and you need the money for the deals. And there is a creative way to do even option agreements for those who understand option agreements. Alan is doing one. We've done a few. There's a creative way of doing that, which means that you can even do deals with very, very little of your own money. Okay. Okay. Now, rent-to-HMO, again, I've shared that. How can you do flips? Locadia, you asked me this question. Okay. Flips. In fact, let me share my screen with you. Okay. I've done this previously as well, but I'm going to share my screen so you can see through, guys. One sec, share screen. Yeah. All. Guys, can you see my screen? It says Zoopla. Guys, please raise your hand if you can see my screen.
We can see your screen, Jack.
Yeah,
We can
see it.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
very clear.
Anyone wants to, anyone more, or do you want to give me a location?
I'm in Southeast London.
Give me a
Where?
specific location.
East.
Yeah. Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, London. Can you see that, guys? So I'm on Zoopla, for sale, Crystal Palace location, search. There's 267 results, guys.
Yeah, you can see that.
Can you see that? Go on to this tab and say most reduced. All right, guys, all I did was search a location and said most reduced on this tab. I'm going to scroll through. Can you see the top of this deal is a 225,000 man deal, and it is reduced by 25%. Can you see that green and down sign?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go down and look for the listing history. Okay. Something called the listing history.
It's further down, Jack, a bit more.
Bit more, yeah. Yeah, they keep changing features, so I tend to go slow just so I don't miss it. Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
Listing history.
Yep.
I'm going to click on this. Can you see last sold 2,000 for 97,000? First listed July 2023, which makes it now about 8 or 9 months, right? And it was first listed at 299,995. And it's gone from there to 25. Do you think it is genuinely 25% discounted? I would say not 25, maybe about 17, 15, 17% discounted. Yes? No? Raise your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, put
Yeah.
money in your account, £10.
Sorry, Locadia. Can everyone see this, right? I'm going to scroll through a bit more. Can you see this one again? 200 listed at 250,000, 23.1% discounted.
We can see that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to again scroll through down to the listing history. Listing history. And can you see first listed 3rd January 2023 at 300 grand. Then down to 265. No, first listed actually October 23, which is now 6 months at 325, and it's now from 325 to 250. I'm going to look at another deal. Can you see this is 17.6% discounted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this was Zoopla, right? You can do this on Rightmove, and you can do it on, on the market. You can do it on all portals. I'm going to show you another very interesting thing. It's something called property data. Okay. Property data about 2 years ago was not that good. But now, property data has become very interesting. I used it the other day. So propertydata.co.uk. There we go, propertydata.co.uk. Can you see this, guys? Propertydata.co.uk.
Yes.
Can you see that? You can find refurb properties, below market value properties, source by strategy, rent to rent, quick property finder, letter sending, planning alerts, titles, evaluate, plot map, valuation, comparables, development calculator, research, postcode data, newsroom, local data, yield hotspots, national chart library, browse extension. These property data has an extension. Postcode data, local data, on market sourcing, letters, data, so on and so forth. For investors, one-to-one trainings. I have not tried their trainings. For developers, for agents, data sources. I guys use them for a month. I'm gonna stop sharing screen. Just give me 1 sec, guys. I used property data for about a month. It blew my mind. About 2 years ago, I used property data and it was crap. Now you can use property data and find anything and everything that you need. Like literally, I would say they're covering about 90% of the ground. Okay, you can find below market value deals, you can find refurb deals, you can find, you name it. You can find all sorts of deals through property data, right? We were talking about flips. You can go on property, property data, take their free trial for 14 days. After that, go on to the premium. I didn't go on to the premium purely at the moment because I don't need it right now. but I'm going to need it in 6 months' time. So I'm actually going to go back and take a premium at that point. At the moment, the stock that I am looking at, which they don't cover, which is blocks of flats below market value. Property data does not cover that. Okay, so they don't cover blocks of flats below market value, so I didn't need property data right now, but I'm going to use property data at later stage as and when I need them. But you really, if let's say you're doing flips, you can use property data and find refurb deals, below market value deals all day long. When you are building a portfolio, remember I shared earlier that you could build a 5 million man portfolio and still be in crap, as in the sense make zero money, or you could build a 25 million pound portfolio and still be in trouble. That's because if you don't build your portfolio from a really good foundation of buying below market value deals, adding value so you're low leveraged, even if you build a 10 million pound portfolio or a 20 million pound portfolio, it's really not going to help you. So you really need to have a strong foundation. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay, strong foundation means you're really finding below market value deals, and then you're adding value on top of that. To give you an example on one of the ones that we did, like I was sharing earlier as well, we bought this deal, which came to market at 330. We paid 285 for that. We spent another 85 grand on that, making it 260 grand or 270 grand. Sorry, 370 grand. So 285 plus 85 makes it 370. And now it's valued at $500,000. The mortgage on that property is only 220. Okay, so now, not just that I'm low leveraged, it's in one of the highest capital growth areas, which is Slough in the country. Slough was rated as the highest capital growth area, I think it was 2020 or 2021. Okay, highest capital growth area in the whole of UK. Okay, so my aim is, I have 2 properties in that region. My aim is to keep those properties for the next 20 years and just sit on capital growth. For 20 years, I know these properties are going to go triple in price. Okay, and I'll be enjoying that. But at the same time, I have cash flow strategies, which are our hotels. Okay, but I've managed to find these deals just purely through Rightmove and Zoopla on the market. I find these deals, but now you have property data as well. Okay, another way to find repossessed properties is by connecting with 2 sorts of people in your local region: property accountants and your conveyancing solicitors. Okay, so solicitors who are focused on property conveyancing. If you connect with these 2 people in your local region and tell them, look, I'm looking for repossessed properties that I'm ready to buy cash, and then you have investors lined up, sometimes you can find properties that are 40, 50% discount. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay, connecting with local accountants and solicitors, always tell them that, look, if you bring me a repossessed property, let's say even 30% discounted, I'll share a decent commission with you. You know, share 3% commission. If you're making 30% discount on a property, let's say you buy a property worth 300 grand and you're getting 30% discount, you're making like 90 grand. Do you hesitate paying 10 grand to the solicitor? No. Okay, same with the accountant. All of this is common sense, guys. I'm going to share with you some more tools, right? In fact, you can use Land Insight and Nimbus Maps to find below market value properties. Okay, I'm going to get to the developments parts and the planning uplifts part a bit later. Okay, but you can actually find these deals through even Nimbus Maps. Nimbus Maps gives you data that will blow your mind away. Like, you could look at Nimbus Maps, the paid version, obviously, and then look at the street that allows you to show, okay, this house has got a large extension, or this house has got the planning permission for 4 flats, and there's another house right besides it or on the same street, same size, that now has the potential to be converted into 4 flats or 6 flats. Nimbus Maps shows you that. In fact, Nimbus Maps gave us their premium trainings, which you don't get them unless you become their paid member. They gave us those trainings, which are now a part of the PM trainings, premium trainings, that I can give you for absolutely free. Okay, so please send me a WhatsApp message after this session, and then I'll be able to give you access to those trainings of Nimbus Maps, premium Nimbus Maps trainings for absolutely free. Okay, which shows you how to find these refurb deals or deals that you can extend and or get multiple unit at the back of that. Raise your hand if you can see value of what I'm talking about. Also, switch on your cameras. I want to see your lovely faces. I want to see that you're getting all of this, guys. Okay, it's really not about learning. It's about going on ground and doing it, and many, many times bleeding with it. Okay. So please save Nimbus Maps, property data. I'm going to share with you another tool which most people don't know about. I'm going to share with you that.
Jack, what about property filter?
Property filter? I've not used it.
Gulam. You haven't used it?
I have not used it.
Have you heard of it? Because I think it's very similar to property data. You've not heard of property filter? It's quite well used. Gulam Back runs it.
I have not heard of it. No.
With a property data, is there a free trial and then do you pay membership?
Yes, there's a free trial, 14 days free trial.
14 days free trial. Okay, I'll try it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Also, even on Zoopla, I'm going to share the screen again because I think this is again a feature most people don't know about. I want to make sure that I share that with you. So if I go back to Zoopla again, and Zoopla, again, I'm going to do Crystal Palace because that's what I was given, Crystal Palace. You can see my screen, right, guys? And
yes, we can,
within
Jack.
this, yeah. Please go ahead, ask me.
No, Jack, you were asking about the screen, so I'm saying, yeah, we can see it.
You can see my screen, okay? Okay, so Zoopla and Rightmove have been changing their features massively. I want to see if they still have that feature of giving keywords. Does it still have that feature?
I think it does, Jack. I was checking yesterday, and if you go to filters, if you go to filters on the top right,
if you go to filters, yeah, and then
all the way down,
you to search keywords, okay?
All the way down, yeah, all the way down.
Yeah, all the way down. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Keywords, guys. What keywords do you want to use? Refurb, refurbished, refurb.
Modernization.
Modernization, refurb. No, I'll try something else. Modernization. Modernization is probably more of a word that gets used. Modernization. All right, guys, can you see 21 results in Crystal Palace?
Yep.
These are the properties that you can find for refurb projects. Okay. So if I click on this 4-bed flat, I want to stick to houses for refurbs. So if I click on just houses, bungalows, detached, semis, terraced, no flats. So 5 results. And if I click on this, it likely needs some work, looks a rundown from the outside. If we read the details, the 6-bedroom property is situated on Rockmount, Norwood.
I know where that is, Jack. I know exactly where that is.
Where that is, yeah. Coffee shops. The property is in need of complete modernization. The property is in need of complete and would make the ideal family home. Guys, can you see we've just found a deal? That's what you call a refurb or a flip deal. Okay?
And Jack, just quickly, that property, Jack, is 5-minute walk to the Crystal Palace Triangle, which has every single shop known to man.
I know Crystal Palace Triangle, yes.
Yeah, Jack, it's literally 5 minutes from there.
Give me, so you know the area, Moro.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sense of this deal. Let's say it's a 935 purchase. Let's say we do some refurb on this. Let me look at the pictures. Yeah, I can see it's slightly old because, so we can see there's damp here. and it is not modernized for the standard of Crystal Palace in this day and age,
Yeah.
what would be this property worth if it was in a really 5-star condition? Obviously, we can see the floor ripped out. Yep.
What is up with that brick wall in the living room? What does that lead to?
So,
I think that used to be a fireplace, I think.
So
I don't know.
is that solid wall behind it though? Because
there's solid wall behind it, Rajesh, I can tell.
okay.
But it looks like this property is run down. Can you see there's no floors in many of them? There's some damp. Yeah. If this was a property that was in a really 5-star condition, what would be it worth? I would say probably close to like 1.4, 1.5 million.
100%. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. Easily, yeah. Especially there.
Easily.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm going to stop sharing screen, guys. So we have a live example of finding a refurb deal. I think this property will cost a refurb of about 150 grand to bring it to like a really 5-star condition. We buy this for, let's say, 900 grand. We spend another 150 grand plus another 50 grand legal, stamp duty, hypothetical 1.1. It'll probably be worth about 1.3 to 1.5 million.
Yeah, 100%. In that area, yeah.
Guys, can you see where I'm going with this? It's not rocket science, it's common sense. Okay? Just knowing how to use these tools online, you can do these deals. This deal, the only bit that I see tough is the 900 grand purchase price. Okay?
What about
so
HMO? Could you do it as an HMO, the 6-bed?
It can be a HMO. I don't know if it's an Article 4 area.
It is.
It is. So you can't get a HMO license, Rajesh, here. Okay?
So better as a flip or a
it's just a flip project, yeah. So what I'm saying is at this stage to you guys is it's not rocket science finding these deals. I did one right in front of you, in 5 minutes. Okay, the challenging bit I find in this deal is, let's say if I was to go and do this deal, is someone sitting with 935 grand. Okay, and even if I was to get a mortgage, I'm still not going to get any more than 700 grand. You still need someone with £250,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. If let's say I think in my head, I'm raising money, I'm bringing a £500,000, I could go and look at that deal when that money is in my account. And what do? I make 200 grand doing a deal like this. Alan, you and me with a bit more experience here, less than 6 months, 3 months to do the refurb, done and dusted, right? The legal time, which is not much in control, and the sales time, which again is not the best time. I would probably keep this property and sell it later. But the refurb time is less than 3 months. So 3 months down the line, you have an investor lined up. You could maybe walk away with 200 grand. And that's just a one part-time deal. This does not even require you full-time because you're an instructor builder to do the work.
So in that case, would you look at the deal first, find out what the refurb is? So in this case, like you said, maybe 150 to 200,000. Once you've done the numbers, then look for the investor. And then
I would do this deal. I would only do this deal if I'm making 300 grand plus.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Reason for that is if you're buying it for, let's say, 900 and you're going to invest another 150, 200 grand refurb, legal, stamp duty, that's 1.1 million. If you're not making 300 grand, it's not worth my time. Okay. And then let's say now it's worth 1.4 million. The question you're asking is, would you look at the deal first or the investor? Again, Rajesh, simultaneous process. You got to have the investor ready, to have the deal ready, to have the deal ready, to have the investor simultaneously. Are you with me?
Yeah, no, that makes sense because there's a lot of people, they either say get the deal first, and then, like I said, I was at an event and there seemed to be a lot of disagreement. One person said, I want the investor. I will not do a deal unless I've got the investor. Because, and then the other person said, well, I want the deal because if I don't have the deal, then how am I going to present to the investor?
It's what you call an immature conversation. People who are seasoned and mature do it simultaneously. Okay? I wouldn't even get into a debate like that. Like, you need the deal to have the money and you need to have the money to have the deal. It just makes sense simultaneously. That's all it is.
Well, say you do this deal, right? Let's say you see the deal, or who was it that's in Crystal Palace? Who's he?
Me.
We are Moro.
Moro, you and Jack do this deal, and you find the investor, and you
Yeah.
sell it for 1.4 or 1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
You then got those funds. Then, because you've done that flip first, because always doing the first deal is the hardest, you can then use that as to do further deals. Because then, wouldn't that build a bit of track record and record? I mean, I know you've already got a track record, Jack, but for Moro, because this is what I'm finding. Trying to find the first deal is, I think, it's this is.
Okay, here.
What
So
I'm
I'm
finding
going to deal with your. I'm going to deal with your challenge, Rajesh, here. But here's the interesting bit. Anyone you're going to go and pitch this deal to, they have to be prepared to have the money left in the deal, because it's not the best time to sell. So you might do a refurb and then rent the property out till we get to a point of where it becomes now a market to sell. At the moment, it's not a seller's market. So anyone who's going to come must be prepared to wait for at least 3 years to get to a point where the market comes back, and then you sell the deal so you can actually realize all the profits. Okay.
Would the investor look at that? Because
yes,
if it's
many people would. Many people would.
Okay.
Rajesh, there are people who would invest into a property, say, you know what, I'll hold on for 3 years. Market comes back, the day it comes back, it's always a jump of 10% immediately. So imagine going from 1.4 million to 1.6 million, and then now you made another 200 grand plus the 300 grand profit. That's £500,000 profit, and then you can make your rent or cover your mortgage and still make passive income from the net rental income as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And going back to your question, Rajesh, again, go back to we. Don't use I. You don't have experience on ground. You need to use someone else's experience to do your first deal. Either it is rent-to-HMO, either it is a flip deal or a development deal. No one is going to give you a deal unless you become exceptionally lucky, unless you have some sort of proven track record. Okay? I did it by joining a friend of mine. That's exactly what you need to do to be able to get to that point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That makes perfect sense, yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, any questions on flip deal? I just shared with you flip deal. There's 21 of them. I can always go back to, the shared screen. Just give me 1 sec. Share screen. Go back.
Do you mind doing one more example?
Of course not. Of course not. Of course
just in
not.
my area.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Okay, let's go back to your area. Rajesh,
so mine is Sutton. Sutton. It'll either come at Greater London or Surrey. Yeah.
Sutton, London Borough.
Yeah.
Jack, while you're doing that, just don't want to throw you off. How do you know? And obviously, this is probably covered on your advanced training. But how does one know if the deal is truly BMV? Because obviously, Zoopla can say 25% reduced.
I won't trust Zoopla. Yeah, I don't trust Zoopla.
Exactly.
Valuations. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to share that with you. Let me share one more deal, Moro. I'm going to come back to your question after this. Okay? Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
So,
that's fine.
Rajesh, you said Sutton. And within the same keywords, Rajesh, which was modernization, there's 28 deals in Sutton. Okay? So we'll look at the first one. It's a 650 grand semi-detached property. KT4, I know KT4, Worcester Park. Yeah.
Worcester Park's not far from.
Yeah. A 3-bedroom semi-detached family home in need of some modernization. Can you see that? Can you see that, Rajesh?
Yes, Jack.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go back to the pictures now. Yeah, what I can see in this property is, even though it's in a good condition, but it's not in the condition of the standard that people expect today. It's not a 5-star condition. Can you see that, guys?
Yeah. It may need some modernization, but not as much as
it's an older bathroom. It's an older, style of the room. Yeah. People expect higher standards these days, guys. Okay, and I somehow see that there might be potential to extend. Can you see it's a very large garden?
Yeah, the garden is quite long as well. Yeah, it's quite long.
So I see potential of extending there as well. Plus there is a garage. Even that could be used to extend and create another room. You never know. It comes under permitted development.
How much do you think you'd need for the refurb, Jack?
On a
About
property
50?
like this, to bring it to a today's standard, I think I would say without an extension, about 100 grand.
100 grand. Okay. So that
100
takes
grand.
it to,
And if
so
you're
that
doing an
takes us,
extension, that's probably another 50 odd grand, depending on how far you extend.
so that will take it to 800.
800, yeah. Yeah. Then you have to obviously do your numbers to make sure it works for you. Okay, so going back to your question, Moro, which is connected to now where this is leading, it is how do you make sure that the valuations are accurate or close to accurate? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Moro, here is something I've learned. Before you even do a deal, have a buyer lined up.
Okay.
So your exit needs to be very, very clear. Like the deal that I picked up on Crystal Palace, can you see that I said, you're not selling this deal?
Yeah, you said it straight away, yeah.
Yeah. So the exit is in my mind clear. It's not a seller, it's not a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. So if you were to do that deal, you'd need to hold on to it for at least 3 years. So you would speak with your investor accordingly.
Right.
But then when you do find a deal that you can profit from and exit immediately, then you look for an investor accordingly. But coming back to valuations, I think, Moro, when you are living in a local region, you need to have intricate knowledge of the area. And I think you are getting there as well. Okay. So when I look at, for example, I'm very, very familiar with Slough, so Berkshire and Middlesex, and I'm also very familiar with Blackpool. Okay. I would not go out of these regions easily unless I find something that's like 50% discounted. Okay. And I can go and do comparables. Otherwise, I'll stick to my area because I know my area. Okay. So to give you an example, if I was looking at Hounslow or if I was looking at Slough, you know these areas, you're London based, yeah? So if I was looking at these areas, I can literally walk into the property and I can tell you how much it's worth.
Okay.
Okay. Just because it's on ground experience now, I can walk into a 3-bedroom house in Hounslow now. Even in the worst case, like it's a rundown property, it's still worth about 550, 600 grand.
Yeah.
A really good condition property is worth about 700 plus in Hounslow. And I'm talking about a mid-terraced, small size property.
Okay.
Are you with me? Okay.
Yes, definitely.
So yes, these tools can help to some extent, but you need to have intimate knowledge of the area.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
In fact, let me give you another example which gives you more clarity. I had someone buy a piece of land in Croydon. Okay. And he got funding through us. He bought the land for £250,000. It had planning permission for a few units. After buying that land, he realized now Croydon has 2 sides to it. There's the cheaper side and the expensive side. I think there's someone here who was talking about Croydon.
Yeah, I'm not far from Croydon.
Okay, so there's a cheaper side of Croydon, there's an expensive side of Croydon. He ended up paying the price of the expensive side and bought it on the cheaper side. Raise your hand when I say you really need to be careful and have intimate knowledge of the area and not just go blind.
Sorry, say that again, okay. Jack. He bought it from the expensive side.
He bought
it from the cheap side, but he paid the expensive price.
Oh,
he paid the price of the expensive side. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very careful, guys. Yeah. Look, this is what you call, when you talk about mentoring, please only go to someone who knows all of this, can walk into a deal and can give you more clarity. Again, I don't want to talk about all of this, but it's almost like, okay, Locadia was sharing, I spent 20 grand and I'm not done a deal. I'm thinking, are you for actually real? Like, are you for real? Okay. I know Alan, help me out with this. Okay.
Yeah, but Jack, like Locadia, there's a lot of people out there who spent so much money.
I know. That's exactly where we are doing this session. Alan, help me out. You've called me a few times.
Yeah.
And I try and deal with the source issue and I give you the source problem or the source solution, right?
Sure.
Help me out with this, please.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be focused on the deal that you've got in hand. You've got to do your due diligence and you've got to know the deal from end to end before talking to you. So you've got to have in mind what you want to
Exactly.
do and how you want to exit before talking to you. Otherwise, you're going to ask me those same questions.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go to you if I had got the valuation wrong. It would have to be a good deal before I talk to you.
How many times, Alan, I've said to you, make sure you have an exit plan for this deal.
Yeah,
because
absolutely right. Yeah.
I look at deals and I'm thinking, are you for real? Like you go, the mistakes people make, okay? They buy market value.
Yeah.
They don't have an exit plan. And when market goes south, they don't know how to add value.
Yeah.
And when the market goes south, everything crumbles.
Sure, it's just wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking on the exit price, the price you'll attain, wishful thinking on the refurbishment costs, and all of a sudden you've got a massive headache, maybe lose money even on the deal if you don't have the right exit.
How many times have I seen people losing money and going bankrupt just because they bought something with like no intimate knowledge of the area?
Yeah.
And then they just got the whole cycle wrong. Like no exit plan, no below market value purchase, don't know where to add value, how to get understanding permitted developments, understanding planning, understanding how to add more value, just get the whole cycle wrong. Even, in fact, let me share with you something very interesting. I personally know someone who was active developer developing 120 million pound worth of properties. I repeat, 120 million pound worth of properties at any given time. He did one deal out of sweet spot. Sweet spot means if, let's say, in Middlesex or in Crystal Palace, the average house value is 500,000, and you decide to build a property worth 3 million, that's what you call out of sweet spot.
Sure.
She decided to build one property worth 5 million out of sweet spot. She struggled to sell, affecting her cash flow on 120 million pound pipeline of developments, eventually going bankrupt. Raise your hand if you know what I mean.
Wow.
Was this person an experienced developer?
Experienced developer, super experienced developer. In fact, you would actually see her speaking in many events. She will never share about all of this. I find that really bad. I share about everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then
I think that's what people are looking for, because if you share just what's, especially on social media, it's like a highlight reel.
Yeah.
They just show what's good. And like Alan said, if you haven't done your due diligence, you end up losing money. It's absolutely right. You have to be, I think, when you say about exit deal, with the previous one, actually, it's coming back to a question that I was going to ask you anyway, but with the previous one, whether Crystal Palace or Sutton, because at the moment it's a buyer's market, are you saying that, say you did the deal with Morrow, or you did a deal with me in Sutton, and we bought that one in Worcester Park, we did it up, spent 200,000, rented it out, and then 3 years down the line, when the market becomes a seller's market, are we looking to sell it? Is that what you're talking about, like exit plan?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, okay. Which comes on to my next question, and Alan might be able to help with it. You get a lot of people saying, hi, I source deals, I do this, I can get you better returns than you can get in a bank account. In your opinion, Jack, what is the minimum return of investment an investor needs to get in order for them to be interested in the deal? Maybe not take the deal. Is there any sort of like a minimum? Like, say they get 5%. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because I just thought of it right now, because I go to a lot of networking events, as you're well aware, and there's people saying, oh, I can make a 25% return. I'm saying, are you sure about that? Because that seems like quite a good, so it's just trying to find out what the parameter is.
So let me share with you what happens when you're pitching to investors, okay? So I come across a lot of people where I have pitched for investment for myself, like I'm maybe doing a deal, and then I go and say, look, I'm looking for money. And a lot of people come to me and say, oh, you know what? Someone is giving me 18%, 20%, 25%, 30%, some even proposing 60 and 70%, right? And I always tell them, look, the higher the return someone is proposing you, the higher the risk they're taking. Okay, so if someone is saying, I'm going to give you 20%, I mean, stay away from people who say 50 and 60%. They're likely never going to give you your capital back. Okay, but even if someone says, I'm going to give you 20%, I'd be very, very cautious, because making 20% on a deal to give it to an investor means that you're not going to make any money. And the likely is that person is going to lose, look, if you invest with an investor and he says, I'm going to give you 20%, the likely is you lose some capital. If someone says 30%, it's a very highly likely chance you lose capital. Someone says 50%, I'm telling you that they're probably going to scam you and disappear.
So
okay?
would you say
the
then,
parameter
like,
that you're talking about,
would you say probably look at it between 5 and 15%, sort of?
I'm
like,
going to give you an exact figure on that because I'm sharing my experience. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
The parameter you should stick to is 6 to 12%. Okay. So I even right now have investment money of other people that I pay 6%. Okay. And I have other people that I am approaching, and I would propose anywhere between 6 to 12%. Any more than 12%, you're risking your life, and you're risking your reputation, and you're risking a project, and everything will just go south. Remember, you work on a development deal, and if you make 25% on the deal, on the overall deal, that's quite really decent profits. Okay? Off of that 25%, if you're going to pay 6, it doesn't quite work like that, but hypothetical is, if you're paying someone 12%, that becomes 6% of the deal itself. Okay? So if you're paying someone 12%, you're practically paying 25% of the profits of the deal itself. And that's passive income to someone else. You're still actively working in the deal, so you need to make active income as well as passive income. Are you with me? Okay. The second point, active income and passive income. Active income is if you're project managing this. If you're project managing this, okay, and you need to make project management money. And passive income is your own investment or your own overall effort. If you're going to propose someone more than 12%, that means you're now taking profits from the deal, which is a combination of your active as well as passive investment. It will eat into that. So you can't propose anyone more than 12%.
So effectively,
more than 12%. Anyone who talks about
effectively
more than
working
12%,
for free, then you're effectively
working for free. Yeah, you're working for free.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you were saying about with the say 12%, then they get, so if you're like, say you get an investor and maybe it's a JV or whatever it is, they get 6%, you get 6%. Do you still get your profit out of the deal if you do a maximum? But if you go,
yes,
yeah.
So okay. It depends on how you structure the deal, Rajesh. To give you an example, okay. So okay, here is an interesting one. Okay, so one of the deals that I did where I actually charged a sourcing fee, even though I was a JV partner. So I charged 30 grand sourcing fee, which I didn't take out as cash, but I took it as share capital value within the project itself.
So is that money still in the deal then in that case?
It's still in the deal, yes. I see. I have not realized that 30 grand sourcing fee, but it's still in the deal. And whenever I do refinance that deal, I'm able to realize that.
Would you, is that on top of the profit that you'd make
on top of the profits that we share? That's including the management fee? No. So the management fee is separate. Sorry. So the management fee is separate.
Yeah.
Sourcing fee is separate. And the actual investment share is separate.
And the investor knows this.
Structure a deal.
And the investor knows this, and he's happy to do.
Of course, yes, day one, because he's a passive investor.
But that would only come with experience, though, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be something you would suggest.
And he still doubled his money, just so you know, Rajesh, on that deal.
No, I understand that. But like I said, in what you've done is you've done like a creative strategy. You've done the deal, plus you've got the sourcing fee. But if you're starting out, you're starting out, it would be something that would you recommend, or would be better just to stick to
The
one
answer is
strategy?
yes, you can. Yes, you can, Rajesh, but you need to learn how to structure these deals. To give you an
That's the thing
example,
that
let's say,
Yeah, sorry, go on.
let me give you an example. Let's say you go and source a deal. You speak with the investor, and let's say, he says, okay, you know what, you manage this passively for me, I'll invest the money. First, you can get a limited company registered and not charge the investor the sourcing fee, but add the sourcing fee as share value in the limited company. Okay? And then you will realize the sourcing fee profits when you sell the deal. Okay? And at the same time, you can charge a project management fee, which is your active income, as well as you can charge, you not charge, but make profits at the back of the deal. So whatever profits you make, let's say you make 30% profits from the deal. Let's say it's a £500,000 deal. 30% profits on £500,000 is £150,000. Let's say you think 50-50. The investor walks away with 75 grand profits. You walk away with 75 grand profit. Let's say you charge 20 or 30 grand fee, the sourcing fee. So let's say you charge 25 grand sourcing fee. Now you've got 100 grand profit. Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah,
But
I'm
you
not
realize
actually.
that profit when you sell that deal.
You know, you're the first person to ever say something like that. I've never heard of this before. I know this
This
creative
is common
strategy.
practice behind the scene.
Same here, Jack. I've never heard that before.
I've never heard of
We do
someone
this day
doing
in,
the
day out, every
sourcing.
day.
Yeah, no, that's really good, Jack. You're giving a lot of value because
Right now,
it's go on, sorry.
Right now, I have raised 80 grand from one investor. I'm raising another 180 from another investor. That makes it 260. I'm bringing £250,000 of my own money by refinancing. That's £500,000. I'm going out there and looking for deals that eventually, when I find, I'll be charging a sourcing fee, which will eventually be a share value within the limited company of the deal. And then when that deal is bought, off of that deal, we will pay the mortgage off, and whatever net passive income is left will come to us, which is a compounded effect, which lies in the sourcing fee plus the money that I've invested. That will become my net passive income compounded, plus the management fee. Raise your hand if you can see 3 levels of profits here.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that, Jack. It's amazing.
We do it all the time. I'm doing it as we speak. I have
Jack, I agree.
offers on multiple deals as we speak.
Jack, I agree with Rajesh. I've never heard of that, like this creative way of doing it.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very
good. Listen, I can tell you 500,000 creative ways of doing things. In fact, Alan has a really good story to tell. I don't know if he wants to tell this, but he's got a really interesting story happening behind the scene. Okay.
Yes, Jack.
So
thanks.
He's doing this very, very creatively, very cautiously, and I just hope and pray that we can really get this over the line and just becomes interesting at the back.
Yeah, absolutely right. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah,
please do share, Alan. Please do share what's happening.
Please, Alan, because we learn of other people. I always learn of other people.
I'm assembling a site which is basically 2 commercial to residential conversions side by side. And then a third site came up for sale, which is adjacent as well. So there's 3 buildings all in a row. And then what we will do is work with the existing leaseholder. We're purchasing the freehold of the third building, working with the existing leaseholder to prove to the local authority, the planning, the planners, that the business is not feasible. The leaseholder's lost £150,000 at the moment. And what we're going to do is prove to the planners that the business is not viable, and then get planning consent to redevelop. So what started out as 5 units in the first building and then 4 units in the second building, we're going to develop 5 units in the car park of the hotel, which is the third building. So that's 5 plus 4 plus 5 is 14 units. And then the hotel itself is 8,000 square feet. So that's potentially another 12 units. So that will be 26 units in all, subject to planning permission. And I'm on the way to getting the first 5 planning permission, hopefully in April. The planners have given positive feedback about the first building that we've made the planning application.
Sorry, Alan, the 2 commercial residential, how many? Is it flats or?
It's flats, yeah. So it's currently offices, but the original buildings were built as merchants' houses. So these are two listed buildings, and the listed buildings officer, the historic buildings officer, has agreed that it would be suitable to turn them back to residential. Well, that was what they were built for in the first place, even though they've more recently been used as offices. So
once the project is complete, what is the return are you looking for?
Well, altogether, the GDV on my projections is 7 million, and the profit from it is 2.3 million. And I started off with a GDV of 1.5 million on a purchase price. The middle building, the purchase price is 400,000, and I've got an exchange with a delayed completion. So I tried to get an option. I negotiated for 4 months with this one. They wouldn't agree to an option, but I've got a very small amount to put down. So I only have to exchange contracts with a £10,000 non-refundable deposit. And then the balance of the 400 is payable only when we get planning permission.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really good.
That's really good. Well done, Jack.
Completion, which is option agreements. There is substantial money to be made when he gets the deal across the line on all three of them, guys. It's what you call creative deals, creative funding. It's all common sense behind the scene when you understand the basics of all of this. This is all basics. I'm not even talking about advanced stuff, guys, as yet. This is all basics.
Yeah, and thanks for your help on it, Jack. You've introduced me to 4 people already, and
I'm trying for more. I promise you that.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
I'm sure it's a case of when and not if.
Oh yeah,
yes,
you'll get the right investors.
I strongly believe in it. Yeah.
So remember, guys, you always have to be positive about that you're gonna get deal across the line. Would you get it all the time across the line? The answer is no. But it's about a game of persistence, right? It's a long-term game. You know, you'll work on 10 deals, right? And you may not close all of them, but even if you close 2 or 3 decent deals, like you look back and you know, making £500,000 is a piece of cake. If you know what kind of deals to work on, what kind of deals to focus on, what kind of deals, how to get them over the line, it becomes a piece of cake when you learn the basics. This is all basics. Like I said, I've not even shared the advanced stuff with you, which you will obviously see over the next, you know, some time or so. But this is basic stuff. I will share with you. In fact, after some time, like in this session, I'm going to share with you another tool that I use. I've not seen anyone using that tool. Okay, I will show you a tool where you can actually go and find these deals, agree option agreements, and make profits on very little of your own money. And walk away with profits of anywhere between 100 grand all the way up to a few millions. I can show you, like I'm going to share with you in this session. Okay.
I'll have to go soon, Jack. But it's a really good session, man. I'm really glad. As always, I've been watching your videos. You know, and let me know about this this new part of the building your community, because actually this is what I was going to ask you. You know how to raise investor finance. So if you do some sessions on how to raise investor finance, even if you're new, that would help me a lot as well, because
I will do that. It's no problem.
Yeah. All right. But thanks, Alan, also sharing that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
good.
Thanks,
like
Rajesh.
Anytime, you know, let's connect on
Yes, let's all
I'm
connect.
I'm part of Jack's community anyway. Property
me too. So
I've been following Jack for quite a few years, and I watch his
events.
And I recommend anyone on this call watch the trainings. Watch them. That you will learn so much and go. But I'm going to go back and watch them again. That's what I do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rajesh. Okay, so I was at flipping deals. Okay, now I'm going to share with you another tool that where you can find planning uplift deals or development deals. Okay, this is not Nimbus Maps. You can learn about Nimbus Maps from our trainings. You can also learn about Land Insight. I think I did a couple of sessions on that as well. You can learn about that as well. But I'm going to share with you another tool. I'll share my screen. All right, guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, Jack.
Okay,
Yes, Jack.
it's called
Maps.
Yeah.
labs.os.uk.
Labs.os.uk.
Labs.os.uk. I want someone to give me a location, please. Alan, do you want to give me a location?
I was just
Okay,
about to
let's-
suggest Alan should suggest one.
Go on.
Alan, do you want to give me a location?
Let's go for P01 then, which is Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, okay? I can't do a postcode search here. I have to zoom
Okay.
out and zoom back into Portsmouth, okay?
Okay. Yep. Yep.
So Portsmouth would be, we're quite north at the moment. Let me just go south. So where are we, Portsmouth? Here. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's Portsmouth, yes? You
Yeah.
can see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in a bit more, Portsmouth. Okay. I'm going to zoom in. Now, can you see, you're able to see the houses built, right? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna zoom out and go back into more residential. This looks commercial. All right, okay. Can you see we're in the commercial zone of Portsmouth? Yes.
Yes. See it. Yeah.
Can you see a road? It's Finning Street and all the
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah,
Same
Central Street,
size.
yeah.
Same size. Yeah. Now we're gonna go somewhere along these roads where the plot size is much bigger than the house built on it.
Right.
Okay. So we'll find that. Okay.
It's more difficult in Portsmouth because it's a very densely populated city.
It is. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see that. I can see that.
Maybe in Southsea, if you go south towards the seafront.
No,
there
let's
is-
take a challenge. I have no
Okay,
problem,
okay.
Alan. Let's take Portsmouth as a challenge, right? No problem.
Okay. Yeah. It is a challenge. Yes, definitely.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well-
Okay. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's a residential or commercial. It looks like there's a museum here.
Yes.
Now, it says Old Commercial Road. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the
I
back
know
of this
that
Old
area.
Commercial Road, can you see this is a big plot here?
Yes.
This one?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
If someone look, I don't have intimate knowledge of Portsmouth. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just using a tool in front of you, and I'm thinking, what is this plot? There's nothing built on it.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah. Okay. Now look at this. There's another corner plot here. Can
Yeah.
you see the house size in comparison to the plot size is not near to nothing? There may be potential here to get extra planning permission for units.
Yes. Yes.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. It definitely
There
is
is some potential for commercial to residential. If you go a bit over to the left and down a bit, there are some parades of shops.
I am not
so-
as familiar, with
No,
this,
no.
Alan.
It's quite challenging in that area.
So okay, it says Regent's Court. I don't know if this is residential or commercial.
I
okay.
think that one is residential.
Now here's the interesting bit. If this is residential, can you see a really big back at the back here?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see potential?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I zoom out, here is another one. Why is there so much space empty here?
Yes.
It says Bayton Close.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here is another corner plot. Can you see that big corner plot here?
Yes.
One in front of it as well. With the corner plot, you can normally get either extensions and or planning for another maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 flats, depending on a few things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Look at this one. Look at this house. Look at the size of this plot. Can you see that?
Yes, I
Look at
see
the
it.
size of this plot.
Yeah.
Look at the size of this plot. All right, guys, I'm going to stop sharing screen. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing screen.
Yeah.
Guys, can you see where I'm going with this? That there's potential for planning. How long did it take me to show you all of this? 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, that,
Okay.
that was good, because that must be about the most densely populated area. Very difficult to find plots in that area.
Alan, I love challenges. It excites me when there's a challenging place and you can do something interesting, because then you have a really good story to tell. Now,
Sure,
here's
yeah.
the interesting bit. You get planning when you look at corner plots, which are really, really large.
Yes.
We've done 2 of those. Okay.
Yeah.
Large plots, big semi-detached house or a detached house, and then you can, go and get planning for like 6 flats or 8 flats.
Yeah.
Here is the interesting bit. You can walk down a road sometimes and it's all residential, right? Semis or, detached or terrace properties. Then in the middle, you see flats. 6 flats, block of 8 flats. Raise your hand if you see them all the time in UK. You see them all the time in UK. If that road has 1 block, which is converted into 6 or 8 flats, there is precedent set for other houses of the same size to apply for.
Yeah.
That's your delayed completion or option agreement waiting for you to go and speak with the local landlord and say, I will help you with this if, let's say, we do a JV collaboration. You sign the option agreement with them, use your persuasion skills of the GROW model, nurturing your local community, your local landlords. You apply for planning permission. We did one of them. We made 600 grand on one of them. All we did was agreed a delayed completion of 24 months on a really large detached house. We applied for planning permission for 8 units, sold the planning uplift as in the sense option agreement for 1.7 million, making 600 grand in net profits by just investing 20 grand. Raise your hand if you can see through on what I just showed you. No need to develop, no need to go through the pain of development. Development in and itself is very, very painful. None of that. Just with delayed completion, planning uplifts, and option agreements, you can make that kind of profits.
Yeah, good.
Guys, it's not rocket science, but it is a game of persistence and patience. Okay? You do need to build your skills of persuasion and leading a team, because if you can't lead a team, you can't get a yes, you can't get people to give you properties, you can't get people to give you money. I'm sorry, you're just not going to go anywhere, irrespective you're doing this thing in property or you're doing this in any other space. You just are not going to go too far if you don't learn to get a yes from people around you. There are family members, friends sitting on money. They won't give it to you because they don't trust you. They will trust you when you know how to build trust. They will give you money when you can build a track record. They will give you money when you can prove yourself to yourself. The only person you need to prove is to yourself. And the day you learn to prove yourself to yourself, it just becomes 10 times easier to prove it to someone else and say, look, I've done this. How about you join me in this? Even if it is passively or actively. Doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, that's brilliant, Jack. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I promise you guys, I mean, you might say this is, in the air stuff, but how much it works is when you look in the mirror and say, I just need to prove this to myself that I can do it. And when you are in front of a landlord or an investor, that enthusiasm, that confidence is contagious. When I'm speaking with you guys, can you see how much confidence and humility is in there when I'm sharing this?
Yeah, Jack. Anyway, I've got to go. Thank you for the session.
No problem, Rajesh.
Okay. I don't know if you're gonna put it in the members area, but
it is recorded, so yeah, it will be shared. No problem,
that's
Rajesh.
great.
You can watch it later. Okay.
And I'll keep in touch. And happy Holi as well.
No problem. Thank you.
Cheers, Rajesh.
So all it is just the confidence in yourself and believing in yourself, and remembering that things do go wrong. Things do go wrong. Not everything that you're doing is going to go in the direction that you want it to. But being prepared for that and always trying to have a backup is what makes it, it's almost like helps you build that character. Okay? Investors are going to pull out, you find someone else. Landlords are going to pull out, you'll find another deal. Builder is going to walk out, you'll find another builder. Tradesmen are going to do a bad job, you'll have to do it again. You know, the market is going to change, you'll wait for the market to come back. All of this is a part of the process. You just need to have the persistence, resilience, and the grit to stay on top of it and play the long-term game. Please raise your hand if you know what I mean. Okay? The grit and the resilience to stay on top of it, even when things don't go in your direction, don't go in your favor. And then keep practicing your persuasion skills, your leadership skills, your strategy, stick to your strategy. Being creative with finding a solution to the challenge that you might be facing every step of the way. Because if you have a challenge in front of you and you're not able to find a solution, you're just not being creative. There's always a solution at the back of that. You just need to look at it in a creative and say, you know, what other ways I can find a solution to this? What other ways I can reach out to people who might help me in the process? Someone who's maybe done it before, has been through the process, may have a creative solution. Let me reach out to that person. That's all there is, guys. All right, guys. That's all the session there is. If you have any questions, by all means, ask me. I'm really feeling tired. Okay, so I'm gonna end this session quite quickly now. Moro, do you have any questions?
No, Jack. No, sorry, Jack. I'm just going out for a walk. No, Jack.
Fantastic.
No questions. Thank you very much for the session, Jack. It was wonderful.
Moro, reach out to me next week, and then I want to share with you about the partners program, where you can become a partner and help us. Basically, it's almost like you're doing JV deals with us.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So reach out to me. Natasha, do you have any questions? Thank you.
I would just like to say thank you for the information and the insight that you've given. I am interested in the educational training that you have, and for me to put some deals across as well, whether it's with you or...
Do you have my WhatsApp number?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so send me a message saying, session or whatever. I'll jump on a call with you. I'll share with you about our partners program as well. And then decide from that point. It's just really JVing with us, collaborating with us on how we can move. Okay?
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you. Tony, do you have any questions? I'm not sure if Tony can hear us. Alan, do you have any questions?
No questions. Thanks, Jack. It's been a brilliant session. I'm interested in the
partners program. Yeah. So we're going to discuss that. Alan, I must say, this is to congratulate you for sticking around to the whole session, while in my mind, I'm thinking you probably know most of it anyway.
No, you've given some really great nuggets, Jack. Yes, thank you very much.
Congratulate you on that. Remember,
thank you.
Many times when you're in a session, it's a good practice to not use your ego and say, look, it's a good reminder. Always, just humility and say, it's a good reminder for me. It's a good reminder. Remember, some of the stuff that I shared, I join sessions, I'm listening to it, I'm thinking I've done it so many times, but I'm always still listening because it's a good reminder. As human beings, we tend to forget things. It's a good reminder to learn, keep learning the basics and keep reminding the basics. Yeah, thank you.
I agree. Cheers. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Thank you. Lacadia, do you have any questions?
I just want, you mentioned ahead, you mentioning that it's not a good time to be doing flips. Is that right?
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I said it's not a good market to sell. So if
that's why I'm thinking that.
Yeah. Be prepared to hold on to it till the market comes back, which can take anywhere between 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jack, I wanted to ask.
Do it now, Lacadia. Don't wait for it. It's more about holding on to the asset till the market comes back.
Yeah, but then you'll be like left without any cash flow. See what I mean?
Keep using investors' money. That's what I do.
Okay. All right.
Never ever stop, Lacadia, for any reason. There's always a creative way to do things.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Okay. There are many times when I've had no money of my own and I've done deals, and then I come back and refinance the deal, pull out the cash, give it back to investors, and still hold on to the deal. I've done this so many times.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Adnan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Jack, what would you say that you would refinance? Like, if you've got a mortgage-free property, would you refinance and keep the cash for this market, or what would you do with the current interest rates or anything? How would you structure it?
Refinance and do a deal.
Yeah, and how would you stand out from the crowd?
In terms of?
In terms of like you go out there, because obviously it's a very competitive area
It
that
is.
I'm in, East London, and how would you sort of stand out? What would you do to stand out?
I could give you a very simple answer, but I'll elaborate on it. A simple answer is observe me. Okay? But here is the detailed answer, Adnan. Okay? So if you give me a zone, I can even right now go in and find something that I might need a refurb or could do with a planning uplift. Okay? Standing out depends a lot on your personal brand, Adnan.
Right.
So if you observe me, I'm always interviewing people, making videos. There are times when, I get 100 views. There are other times I'd go on a video, it's got 1,000 views. Okay? It's not about sitting there and thinking, you know what, how am I going to stand out? It's about actually sharing your experience with the world.
Right.
Okay.
So would you say like go onto Instagram, go onto sort of like, podcast, speak to people, and just really
massively.
pull out, yeah?
Yes, Adnan, yes. Look, you can go on my YouTube channel and you'll see videos which has 1,000 views, and you'll see another video which probably has like 30 views.
Right.
Okay? You can go on my Facebook profile and you see a video that has maybe 150 views. You'll probably see another video which has 3,000 views. Okay?
Right.
It's not about sitting there and judging yourself. It's about letting people give you feedback and you keep improving and creating your personal and professional brand.
Right.
How do you know me as Adnan PN, right? Property Entrepreneurs Network?
Yeah.
PN Jack Davra.
Yeah.
Personal, professional. Is it the biggest brand? No. It's still something that know me with. People who trust me, they want to work with me, they still come to me and they know me as Jack Davra or Jagjit Singh Davra. You would probably see it on Facebook. If you go on my profile, it says my full name, Jagjit Singh Davra. Right? Or they know me through PN. It's just about sharing and not judging yourself and stay persistent at it. Something I learned from Gary Vee. I'm not a big fan of him. One thing I learned from Gary Vee was keep creating, keep serving for the next 10 years with closed eyes. And look back 10 years later.
Right, yeah. No, it's true. Like I said, I've been doing my letting agency for about 15 years. And when I look back at it, I've had a very good run. I've been consistent, but it's only recently that I've been sort of, and hence the reason. And it's a good thing that you've come on. Like I said, I'll definitely give you a call really soon to talk to you about.
In fact, the question, Adnan, you've asked is basically positioning. Okay, your question is based on positioning. Okay, out of the 185 hours, I could easily say about 40 of those hours of trainings is based on positioning and personal branding.
Right.
So I have covered so much detail into that, and that's because I wanted to build my own personal and professional brand. This is something you guys don't know, but I'm investing into a couple of other businesses as well, which require massive personal and professional brands. I'm launching an app. I'm also launching another green company. And all of this is just really like bringing value on the table, serving the community, building the network. And I share this in way more detail in just the internal trainings that we have within PN, the 185 hours. I'm happy to share them with you, Adnan, and you can watch them. So you remember this session, in one session, you can't get everything. You can only get the basics of it, right? But I promise you, this is shared in way more detail in those videos.
Excellent, yeah. All right, sounds interesting.
So send me a message, book a call with me, Adnan. I want to share with you about the partners program as well, see if there's synergy there.
Okay, excellent, yeah. All right,
sounds good, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, bro. Thank you. And I can see Seti. Do you have any questions, buddy? And we have Colm as well. Colm, Tony. Colm, do you have any questions? No, Seti, do you have any questions, bro?
No, it's been really Really, really good. A great session. Even though I'm in the industry and a lot of this stuff I've known, but you know what? When you're actually engaging and you're getting involved and you're just there and you turn up, gives you an energy of, and also the idea what I've just basically had as well, which I'll reach out to you either later today or tomorrow, and we'll go through this.
We'll go from there.
So,
We'll do it next week. Next week, yeah.
Sorry,
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
just a quick question. Where are you based in East London?
Seven Kings.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hanson's Estates. We've been there 20 years.
Oh yeah, off of Cranbrook Road. Yeah, is it somewhere off of that? Is it?
No, we're on Cameron Road, not Cranbrook. Cameron Road.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that.
Hi there. Yeah,
Tony,
just
do you have
want
any
to ask,
questions?
how can I contact you after this webinar?
Sorry, who am I speaking with?
It's Tony.
Yeah, hi, Tony. So do you have a WhatsApp number?
Yes, I do.
So if you send me a WhatsApp message and just book a call with me, I want to share with everyone about the Partners Program, the PN Partners Program. But by all means, I'd like to get to know you a bit more, understand what your challenges are. If there's anything we can help you with, I'd be more than happy.
Right. Where could I send my number to?
So if you send me a WhatsApp message on my number, it's 07886
07886
9626
9626
47.
7. And
do you want to repeat back to me, Tony?
078869626.
No. You missed a digit, Tony. I will write it in the chat. Can you pick on the chat?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I've written in the chat box, Tony. Can you pick that?
All right. Yeah, I'll say that now.
Yeah, save that. Are you in any of our WhatsApp groups?
I get, property deals from a few different ones.
Okay.
I'm in the progress property.
Just reach out to me, or give me your number, and I'll get my team member to see your WhatsApp message quickly. Go on, give me your number.
Right. Okay.
Tony, do you want to write the number in the chat box?
Yeah, I'll just.
Oh yeah, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah, it's 07456 922 600.
Yeah, that's right.
That's 07456
6962.
Send me a
647. Yeah, I got your number right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great, thanks for that, then, Jet.
Sorry, just save your number. Yeah, I've got your number, Tony. Send me a quick message, and you've got my number as well, so we can go from there.
Okay.
I'm just seeing if I've been through everyone. Locadia, did you have any questions, or are we okay?
I'm okay now, thank you.
All right, guys, book a call with me. I'll be happy to share the Partners Program with you. You'll be surprised on how massively beneficial it is to you. Like literally, you'll see 10x the value. At the same time, reach out to me if you want access to the trainings as well. I'll be more than happy to give you that as an absolutely just gift. So you can learn on the journey and don't have to pay these tens of thousands, like £20,000 as Locadia shared. You don't have to spend that kind of money on trainings, but do more on ground experience. In fact, as a Partners Program will also involve you coming and watching me getting deals behind the scene as well. So please do send me a message and I'll book you in for a call. And yeah, I guess have an absolutely amazing day, guys. I'm gonna this recording.